works.
When did you blow your eardrum out?
About 10 years ago.
When you were like 6?
Is that going to be the running theme?
You look really young.
You look really young too, though. So
I
to be
am
fair,
not.
so
Can we ask your
yeah.
age?
Lazarus.
Okay.
What was I watching? I was watching some my 41. I was watching.
I would have put 36, 37.
Wait, you're 41?
We were watching the new Hoobie Halloweeny last night, and with Steve Buscemi, he's like a werewolf, and what's his Rob Schneider comes in, and there's not a death mark on the grave, and they're saying, and the character that Adam Sandler's playing, he's like, oh, he's like 400 years old, he's a werewolf, he's lived forever. That's my excuse. If you just followed anything I said.
As long as if I look like you in 20 years, it's good.
Talking about Adam Sandler in a really crappy Halloween movie that probably nobody's watched.
I haven't seen it yet, but
we just watched it last night. It's not, he did that. He got that deal with Netflix and to make a whole bunch of movies, and it's not one of the better ones for sure.
I haven't watched any. Well, we haven't watched too many movies since
having a child.
Yeah. Did you post it to the band already?
No, you can do that. I always have trouble switching which user I am.
Let me see if it'll let me do it on. It's weird because of it being.
I'm posting it from my page.
Are we live, like on the mics live?
Yes.
Yeah.
This always trips me up too, because like he posts it and then I'm trying to like, am I share it from, but that's right, because you stream it directly to your personal account
and the Kron Studio page,
right?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, so when I share it, I try to share it from the Kron Studio.
All right, cool.
Yeah, there it is. So I think I can.
Yeah. Cool. Very good. Probably should have turned that monitor behind him away, but
You love that multicam.
I do a
thing.
lot. I love the hell out of multicam. We should just leave it on multicam.
I wish you wouldn't.
Just
we need to invest in software that just automatically switches it for us to whoever's talking. So who's got
Yes.
the
somebody's phone.
yeah,
is
somebody's
up.
phone is
Sorry.
Boo.
Is that out of the way now?
Yeah,
I'll just sit on it.
I think it might be one of y'all. Huh?
it's not me.
Was it me?
It's not me.
Hey, it's Big
There he is.
Steve.
Should have locked the door. Yes, we are. Absolutely, every time.
Who's that?
That's my dad.
Oh.
The old creepy man
I
that lives across the
usually,
street.
I usually lock the door because that happens every single time. Justin and Jade Freche, thank you for being here. Holy crap. Didn't think I'd get y'all back. Awesome. What's been going on in y'all's world? Y'all recording something? You got EPs coming out? You did the sound thing? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun lately. It's kind of like during the quarantine, you're almost like you try to plan things and try to go with it, but you're more just waiting to see what pops up next too, like what the world is kind of ready for.
Opportunities will kind of just, you'll be waiting around for a minute, and then out of nowhere, someone will be like, you want to do this thing in 2 weeks?
So we normally try to have like one big project we work on and then try to, leave a little bit of leeway behind for anything else that comes up pretty much.
Y'all stay pretty on top of like having songs. Like how often do y'all practice? Like y'all stay pretty on top of things.
Weekly.
Just once a week. It's not as on top of it as it feels like it should be sometimes, and then other times it's like it seems suffocating sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard as shit to play weekly.
Mm.
We're a
Especially
lot more, like when we're goal focused, when we have something coming up, it's a lot easier to stay motivated, but in times of like limbo, we just get together every Saturday and either write or just try to stay tight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Y'all don't end up just getting drunk. all
Yeah,
the time.
that too. That's also a good thing. You only get a babysitter once a week.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's true.
So,
Well, I am super fantastically excited you guys are here, because you already heard me tell you that like 20,000 times. But yeah, I am so excited you guys are finally on here, and we get to do a deep dive. So not only are you guys the first two-party guest for us, but you're the first married couple to come on.
Yeah.
And I actually know
We got bad news.
Oh. I actually know a few other people that are married musician couples. It's rare, but they don't play punk music.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is super exciting. I have about 500 questions right here.
Good, because we're pretty shy. So.
Yeah.
So you guys have been playing music together and separately. Do you want to start there about, what your previous bands were and how you came to be in, well, not how you came to be, but how you did come to be?
I'll
the
go first.
super power pop punk couple that you are.
I'll go over my band history first. There is none. Northern Lights Suplex was my first band.
Oh, wow.
I suffered from 8 years of horrendous stage fright. Never played for anyone.
What about like church? You didn't do any like church choir, play the guitar, choir in high school?
No, my dude. When I tell you that I would shake like a leaf and hyperventilate, I could not do anything in front of anybody.
Stage fright? Like
Yes.
bad stage fright.
Like horrific.
I think we brought you on stage one time on one
I
of
was
the
brought
cover
on
bands that I was
stage
in.
one time. Can I even say what happened? Probably not.
Please
it wasn't
do.
good.
Yes. I think I have an idea of what happened, but go ahead.
I don't remember,
Oh, I remember.
but I remember we played Santeria.
Yeah, I was
so-
gonna play. I was gonna sing Santeria. I had no instrument. I was just standing there with my limbs, not knowing what to do with them. And then they were like, "Oh, we should chant 'Show Your Tits.'"
Oh.
And
Oh,
so
no.
they did.
Was this in high school?
No,
right
it was. I was
after.
18.
Yeah.
What, at a bar?
Yep.
Oh.
I think we were like just.
I mean,
got
nobody
together.
like chanted it, but it was suggested.
Yeah.
Who suggested that?
Some drunk guy in the crowd.
Yeah. We'll go
Yeah.
with
What bar was this?
that. Thunders,
We
thunders,
need a-
thunders.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
You were-
Paskin',
you were in
get
the
down,
wrong
ghouls.
place.
You had no business
Yeah.
being in there.
Yeah.
So
Not that
yeah, that
shithole.
was a great time. Good memories. And then that's that. You should go over your vastly more interesting band history.
I don't know about more interesting. I did a cover band, that band when I was. We started.
What was the name of that band?
We were the Evil Minions, and then we became Circus Smile towards the end before I left, I believe. And they went on and they did a couple other cover bands that they changed the name with the times and stuff. But that was like kind of like my first foray for like going into it. I was about 17 and did that for a couple of years, and then joined a original band called Her Fatal Remedy. Did that for a few years, and that was kind of like my first like deep dive into, I guess, like the music scene. And
You have to mention Cephalosha.
I did a black metal deathcore basketball team called Cephalosha. That was
So many adjectives.
it was a really fun
You
weekend.
need every one of them to accurately describe what this
How
band
does
was.
basketball fit in there?
Man,
Did
so-
you play basketball in like black metal makeup
Kinda
with
So
the
that-
spikes and everything?
It was like we were the sports version of Ghost before Ghost was around, if that makes sense. Because like me and Redcap, we would just sit around and drink beer and play 2K. And I always used the Thunder, and they had this guy named Thabocephalosha. And we were like,
Cephalosha.
"Can we cuss on here?"
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "That's a fucking metal name, dude. Cephalosha, like that's fucking heavy." And it's like, and we're like, let's start a fucking band called Cephalosha. And so we joked about it, and then we got enough people to say that they wanted to do it, and it was we bought 8 strings and didn't know how to play them, and recorded a song and brought in this guy Kylie who was in a band called Dead for 10 Weeks, and Sibylic.
We
and
know Kylie.
Yeah, he's in Arizona living the dream.
Yeah.
He's a big dog out there now.
dude, we brought him in, and that
Dude,
was,
he did so good.
he's-
So fast.
yeah,
too.
he came in. We wrote a song in the studio and recorded a video in a weekend, and he
Oh.
just like stayed at our house.
Yeah,
and
he was-
like for like a weekend, and it was would do again.
Did he like wake up every morning and was like, "Hey guys, we gotta get shit done today. We're doing a video today. Oh, tomorrow we're recording.
Yeah, like he came in and was like, "All right, so this is how we're doing."
Put your
this."
makeup on, Justin.
Pretty much.
Where's your spikes at? It's 8:45. We have to be there in 10 minutes."
Yeah, Kylie's a pro.
Dude,
Kylie's
100%.
legit.
He was the only professional in the group.
How dare you? I thought the band was named after the basketball player.
It was.
Cephalosha.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what it was. But it was
Okay.
because of 2K. It was like why we discovered them, and then we went on with that, and so we all got jerseys and had different numbers for it. We
There's a coach.
we had a coach because there was 6 of us, right? So yeah, it was 5 starters, and we had to have a coach, which was Vince from Dark Horizon. That's why if you watch the video, that's why he's dressed in like a fucking suit and tie.
We need to find this video.
Jamie, pull the video up.
Holy shit.
But yeah,
that one in your pocket.
How long did that last?
a weekend.
Okay.
No,
that was
that was
literally it.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah, it was literally.
So you
it,
didn't like go on tour or anything?
No. Kylie was living still up in the Delta working for PV back then, so he literally drove down. We recorded everything in a weekend, and then he went back.
He's done it. He's got his hand in everything, or has had his hand in every. He was in like a ton of metal bands up there.
Yeah, it was me, him, Redcap, Kevin Gordon from Jane Doe's Dead, and Cassanth and all that, and like I said, Vince and Andrew Hartley. He pushed the button.
I'm guessing Vince played bass because that's what he played in Dark Horizon.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, he did.
he did.
Yeah,
Tried?
I don't know if it was such a quick weekend. Honestly, I don't know if Vince knew the song. Like,
Yeah.
it was like he was the coach for he was like moral support in the video.
Where'd y'all record that at?
That was with Seneco back in the day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was it was post Mark Black Seneco with it was cool. It was Chris Noble, and Chris Noble did the video too and all that.
Oh,
And,
wow.
like it was like a whole Seneco production.
Yeah.
That was that when they were over there by like Edgewater Mall?
Yeah.
I remember they had a little spot over there, but I don't think Mark Black was there very long.
No, we did. One of my bands we recorded with Mark Black there for. We did 7-8 songs with him and stuff like that. And then I went back there a couple more times with some other projects with like Cephalosha and stuff.
So you were their main returning customer. You kept them alive.
was one of them.
I thought you were the only one.
I don't know, man. If you go back and think, like a lot of people had some Mark Black productions back in the day. That was like the sound for
Is that jig music?
jig music.
Jig
Was
music.
yeah. I don't.
It's
That's
this music video we discovered one night we were hanging out with our friends. I don't remember how.
I don't think it was
But it was-
Mark, but
It was this
Seneca.
dude. He went to Seneco, and it was like a rap song, and he had like
Mhm.
a music video and everything, and it was a bop. Like objectively, it was quite
10 out of
good.
10.
And
Jig
it's just been
music.
like this thing that keeps coming back over the last 6-7 years.
Like you
Yeah.
pull it up every now and then.
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
gotta watch it like once
you should
a year.
watch it. I highly
Yeah, it's
recommend
It's
like,
it.
Halloween. I'm thinking about that one guy.
It's like that, Charlie the Unicorn,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember Seneco and Enjoy the Weather. They did like a song there, and they went to record, and they quantized the drums. And I remember Justin and Farrell was like, "Yeah, this is a train wreck." And in fact, I don't even know if Justin. I don't think Justin was in the band yet, but I forget the drummer's name before that. But yeah, they went there and they quantized the drums because they were treating them like a metal band. And so when it came out, the end product did not sound like an alternative band. It sounded like a metal band because the plugins and the processing and everything, the treatment was for a metal band. And they're like, this is not what we want to sound like. This is not us. This does not reflect who we are. And
I think it fit us perfect at the time because we were young too, and so when we went in, they were like, "This is how you need to do things to do it right," and we're like, "Okay," And so like we didn't have. We were 7. Like our drummer at the time was 15, so we were super young.
Oh, wow.
Like
Right.
We didn't have the best equipment, we didn't have the best knowledge, so it was a good learning experience as far as like a first, like working with somebody who was willing to work with kids too. I guess it's like
Mark Black definitely was a good producer, engineer, and I know that when he got in there, I mean things were being done correctly.
But I think like Enjoy the Weather, we played with them, and it's like I think it goes back to like it's one of those things where you see now where like an indie style band, what you can do with home recordings and stuff like that you couldn't do 10, 12 years ago, and stuff. It's like I don't know. I guess it's like you don't. It's exactly what you're talking about. You don't need the quantized drums. You don't need the overproduction and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is that in regards to you guys being young. You don't know who you're working with and how they treat you. Like, and I was using the enjoy the weather as an example. They're going in there expecting for this studio quality sound to come out, and the engineer, whoever recorded them, he only knew how to do one way. And it's very, very, very limiting, especially if you're not recording a metal band.
Yeah.
And you don't end up with a desirable product. And it's kind of easier, I think, to convince younger musicians to say, hey, yeah, come record with me. I'm going to use the same fucking plugins I used on the last 20 fucking metal bands.
Yeah.
Which, me personally, that just kind of really irritates me when engineers and producers do that. And but we'll talk about that later when we get into the philosophy of recording and how to make you sound how you hear yourself.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So black metal, and then where do you go from there?
The black metal was just the paint. It was really like it was a big joke that got superly overhyped. But we did that. That was a fun weekend. Me and Zach did a short little stint in a band called Forsaken Me. And then when that split up, it was like we were tired of not like tired of playing heavier music, but I think at that point we were kind of like I guess it was like we were not listening to a lot of the music that we were playing at the time, and so
Forsaken Me was, what was it?
It was a kind of like a mix between. It was like more alternative, but it was it had a little bit more metalcore elements. We played 7 strings and went down to A, but we still wanted to bring some like pop punky elements to it too, because it was like kind of like a little bit different. And then we kind of just felt like it. When it came to writing, I guess we were kind of pigeonholed trying to blend it all into like one little style. So when we left out of that, it was just kind of like, all right, like this time we're just gonna write.
Did you guys play a lot of shows?
There really wasn't. This was probably like 2014 to 2016, maybe. I don't remember really. So it's like we played. I remember our first show was at the Celtic, and then our next show was at Thunders, and then it was like it just felt like we're about to be in like those runs of, not that there's anything wrong with either one of those bars, like but it was like, okay, so now we got to figure out how to branch out, and then Cress opened up right then and there, and we were like just the perfect timing for that to happen. And so
did you get to play Cress?
We did Cress 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We opened, or we did a local band, or we did a local band like show there.
I remember when they had the local series.
Yeah, and then that was upstairs. When I played there, it had just started with the upstairs. I never got to play the upstairs.
It was cool.
Yeah, I only got to play the
lights.
Downstairs.
Yeah, upstairs was fun.
Yeah,
Holy
I went because they did Wednesdays there, and so I went to a couple of those because I live in Biloxi, and it was super cool. And I loved the vibe because I like the feeling of playing like on the floor, but you're still like in a venue, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like cool to have people just kind of like up on top of you, like old Squeaky Lizard. And I mean, not that playing a big stage isn't fun, but you know.
So when you played on the first floor, you didn't play on the stage?
No, that's what we did. We played up on the stage.
Oh, okay.
I was saying we never did the upstairs, and so I was kind of sad about that.
Yeah, when we played the upstairs, it was a week after Afro Turf or whatever his name is hit that girl and Mardi Gras.
Oh, how was that?
Not Afro Turf.
What was his name?
Afro Man.
Afro Man?
Afro Man. He had too much weed, and the girl got on the stage to dance with him, and he turned around and popped
she was
her.
booty. You saw that?
She
Holy
won
cow.
a lot of money.
Yes.
That she'll never get.
I don't know if that sank him, but it didn't help.
No, he came out with a song after that, and you should just look it up. And he wrote a song about her and about her coming for his money, and
he knocked the shit out of her.
Yeah.
The court documents was ridiculous. Like, he's saying that he didn't have any money and that he was broke, and it was just ridiculous. It's like, man. And then they sued the Crest too for lack of security.
Yeah.
Like letting the girl up there.
Yeah.
So when we played, we're upstairs and there's no like guardrails or anything. It's just open, whatever. And people were kind of walking behind to the side, taking pictures. And some dude comes up and starts yelling at the security guards, like, "Do you not understand the meeting we just had? Like, all these people are back here."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they were like overly cautious.
There's one factor: Afro Turf is not here to knock the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, we kind of got the crap into the stick on that one time because we opened up for.
Okay, man.
I think it was. It wasn't.
You want to smell the apples?
I don't mean
red.
to like watch you as you pour it.
You're like, man, you sure are drinking that
Smell
whiskey
apples
really
in here.
fast.
Alcohol is poison.
That's just where my eyes landed, and we made eye contact, and I was like, shit, this is weird.
I'm all about sharing.
But yeah, we opened for Red there, and we were the first band to play. And they had a big line outside, and security was so tight there that and it wasn't like a good like if you go to a show nowadays, they normally go out and they'll pat you down before you even go do your ticket. They were doing it all at the door. They were patting you down, doing security, taking your ticket and stuff. So we played what would have been the biggest show probably, but we couldn't. Not everybody was inside yet, and there was there was people.
That.
Yeah, there was people that were there to see us. That was starting to just come up and start skipping people.
And I was in the line.
Yeah,
what a drag.
Yeah, so it's we got off and we thought we played great. We thought we sounded great, and there was a lot of people there. And then but the people who came to see us didn't see us. They came up oh, we saw the last song, and it's yeah.
Your mom went to see and she didn't make it.
Yeah, so that was kind of we got the security version after Afro Turf.
That sucks, dude. Holy crap.
So this was the first band that you and Zach were in.
Yeah, that was and me and Zach, we've done music together, not in bands though, but since we were about 15 and stuff, that was one of the first people in high school that we started playing music together and stuff. And then he moved away for a while, and that's when I started doing some of the other projects and stuff. And then when he moved back, we started doing music again. So
is that how Northern Lights came together?
Yeah, that was a lot of there was a lot of shit going on in my life and Zach's life at the time, and we knew that we couldn't support a band, if that makes sense. We knew that we weren't going to be able, because we were practicing in our last band twice a week. We were doing it twice a week, and then trying to play shows every weekend and stuff,
Right,
and
right.
we were we can't keep up with this anymore. We were both changing jobs. I was getting married, and this was even before Silas was conceived, our kid. And so we were just...
This is when you were in the first band with Zach.
No.
Forsaken Me.
No, this is Northern Light Suplex, technically. This was the infant stages of it.
So after Forsaken Me, you and
Zach.
Jade meet.
No. We've known each other the whole time.
January 2012.
I'm waiting for him to say,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was at this show and...
Oh my God, no! I thought he was a rapper
Yeah.
before I met him.
Because
everyone just referred to him as Freche. Because
Yeah.
I had just moved to the coast and I knew nobody, so I was just hanging out with anybody, and they all referred to him as Freche as I kind of integrated into that.
Do you
friend
still
group.
refer to him as Fresh from time to time?
I have never once referred
When he
to
comes
him as
into the
Everybody
Freche.
kitchen, you're like, what up, Fresh?
Everybody else does.
I will
though,
not
so it's
call
weird.
him Freche. It's so
What up,
weird.
Daddy Fresh?
I hate
We going out this weekend?
So yeah, she was there the whole time for all of it. She was supporting me and stuff, and being the whole time more musically talented than me.
Did you stand at the side of the stage with your arms crossed and watch
I'm
him
better
and
than
Zach
all
play,
of them?
and then afterwards critique him Justin, you need to move around a little bit more. Those bell bottoms are not working for you.
Bell bottom. Cut.
Hey man. Hey, we couldn't afford new clothes. Lay off us. Well, I think Mikhail had his pants that same show. His pants were probably duct tape held together, and it wasn't for aesthetic at all. It was just because that was all we had. So it was funny though.
So you guys are married and in a band together, and you were saying that it was just the first, little seeds of Northern Lights before it was actually a whole functional band. You had a lot going on, so you get married first before the band actually starts playing shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put the band. It was me and Zach we just were in spare bedrooms just writing pretty much, and we started working on home recordings and programming drums and doing things like that, and just kind of figuring out how to write without having a whole band. And we basically wrote a lot of the songs that ended up kind of being some of the earlier NLS stuff, and then we ended up when me and her got pregnant with Silas, it was kind of uh-oh, it's here goes another big
it
kind
wasn't necessarily uh-oh.
It was uh-oh when it comes to music.
Woohoo!
I think Zach's initial reaction might have been uh-oh when it was just a two-piece at the time, and I'm hey, I got
hey, we got a drummer, but we just got to wait 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we actually after a while we've known John for a long time, and we actually reached out to John before Jade was even in the band, because Jade was the whole time she was I'm not interested in doing music. I'm not interested in doing music.
Didn't want to be
and
in
stuff.
the band.
Really?
Didn't want to be in the band. And then
That's quite the contrast to present day, huh?
yes, very much.
I don't want to be in your stupid boy band. I got my own shit to do.
Boy band.
Pretty much. And so we brought in John, and John clicked really well right off the bat, and it was like one of those like perfect marriages into a band type thing, you know. And now it's kind of like, well, shit, you know, like Zach's. We were, like I said, we were trying to figure out how to do everything ourselves as much as we could, and Zach was. He started singing. He's never sang before in any bands or anything like that. So he brought me the lyrics he wrote, and I was like, shit, that's better than any of the other bands, you know, and shit. So, like, we started working on that. And then when it came time to a bassist, Zach was like, man, just ask Jade one more time. And I was like, well, fine, you know.
Come on, please.
It wasn't even like that. I was like,
it's not as if I looked down upon it. I think I just had a bit of an inferiority complex.
Which I don't
Where
get.
I was like, certainly
going back to like the stage fright.
Yeah, I was like, certainly
Yeah.
there is nothing I will bring to this that will better you.
What?
I didn't know how to play the bass, but we ordered a bass and I learned to play it. And
yeah.
I started, I didn't want to sing at all initially because, again, I didn't want to like let everyone down by doing poorly. And it just kind of became, I don't even really know how it happened. I think I was doing some backups and some woes, and then like out of nowhere, me and Zach just split
I
lead
think I
vocal
remember seeing a
responsibility.
video that y'all had posted where you're recording in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's our music room at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures and stuff on the
Yeah.
wall, and but real quick, because I don't know if I'll remember to talk about it, but like where you guys live, I used to live right around the corner from there, like 2 streets over from you.
Really?
And yeah, well, I mean, where you are.
Yeah.
But and I had when I was your age back in the day, I had house shows over there.
So
and,
jealous.
And they didn't have house, you know, like on the very back street of that neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
houses. They didn't have those houses there. It was just a ravine.
That makes
it was
sense.
just
'cause
trees.
Those
Yeah.
houses stand out
Yeah,
compared
and
to
then
the rest
and
of
then
the
behind
neighborhood.
that's the Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would have house shows, and everybody would park against the ravine or up along the military
Yeah.
fence. And that lasted for like maybe like a year or a little over a year.
Was
but,
everyone in that neighborhood like young when you lived there?
No, they were not
Okay.
at all.
Okay,
at
because they're
all.
very, very not young now, and I just wondered if these are the same people that have been living there for like
They were
20
cool.
years.
They were
Yeah,
very cool.
We practiced there
Oh
actually.
yeah, no one's ever had a problem with the noise. They're all
Yeah.
super
That's-
cool.
yeah, well,
They're just
you know, thank you very much. you're welcome.
We're
Yeah,
kidding.
I'm sure. Do y'all remember how it used to be? We
Look,
use an
and
electric
our-
drum set. We're way quieter.
And
like,
our neighbor does music too, so it's just like
Well,
a
there you
lot
go.
on our.
What?
It's a lot on our whole street.
Does your like neighbor come over and y'all do collabs and?
Is that
Yeah.
Mikhail?
Yes,
Yeah,
Mikhail.
he
Oh, you're talking about Mikhail.
Our
Shout out
backyards
Mikhail.
It's like I'll just be
face
walking.
each other.
Yeah, I'll be walking like our son, and I could just hear him blasting his Marshall. And I'm like, yeah, nice. You know, tone sounds sick. Like, but yeah.
So you guys, this is the question I'm dying to ask, because I know it's different for everybody. So in a band, as you said, it's, you know, a working relationship, marriage that you have with, you know, everybody in the band. But you guys, as a couple, also have to make it work as a marriage. So for each of you, what's the difference between being in the band and being married together and making it work?
Would you like to go
You're
first?
living, you're living
so
the dream, and we
I
need
think-
this information.
I think the key part is that like when you
especially for Phil.
when you go into the band,
Bring me
yeah,
into that. Bring me into that.
when you go into the band, it's like we have to like. It's weird because it's like we know each other really well, so we know how to like. We know what bothers each other, and we
Me
know,
and you?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it's like that. I mean, like we all know in the band. We all know each other really well because like that's it's ironic that you use that because like that's something I've always said and overused is the fact that it's like being in a relationship with like 4 other dudes when you're in a band with somebody, you know, and but I guess like with us, it's like it's really weird because like sometimes it's like we have to like leave the marriage with the marriage and like treat the band as the band in a sense because it's like we're equals in the band, you know what I mean? It's like we're both just 25% of a band, you know. So it's like, and I think
That's a good band to be in.
and so I think initially it's like it was
Not everybody has that good fortune where you get to show up and contribute 25%.
yeah, and
Oh,
it's like
everybody's ideas are
Sometimes
equal.
it's a lot like it's like 90%, 10%.
and I think that's like all a big
Who are
learning.
you playing with? What type of dudes are you playing with, sir?
You
Oh.
know.
It's getting a little shady over here. But yeah, like, so we try to leave it where it's like, you know, and we still do have conversations afterwards sometimes where it's like, hey, like how, you know, because like we try to treat it where it's like how like I'll talk to her the same way I'll talk to Zach, and I'll hold her to the same standard that I'll hold Zach or something like that, or John or something, you know. But then at the same time, after practice, it is kind of like, I will be like, hey man, I don't like how you talk to me. Like when that one little part right there, it's like, you know, it's like you.
And that's like
that was like wife
thing,
attitude. You know what I mean? Or
the what? Wait. So like you have band practice, you get back in the car, you're on the way home.
Oh no, our practice is at our home, so it's like
okay. So everybody leaves, you go back inside, and you're like, look, hon, I didn't really like you pointing out that I was playing a minor chord and not a major.
No, point that out. I guess it's.
Please point it out.
I will be. It's not like a wife attitude thing. I will be, because I've been dealing with him for 10 years, and we are really desensitized to one another at this point. So I will be more brisk or straightforward or hard in
honest, brutal honesty.
Yes, in the way I speak to him versus the way I would speak to Zach or John. Not that I wouldn't say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But
because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah, and with
you're
him,
like, look,
I
had a baby with you. I can hurt your feelings all fucking day long.
And that's how it is. Not that it's a bad thing at all.
Not that I'm intending to hurt his feelings, but I'll find myself.
I'm the one who gets the feelings hurt in this situation.
With less padding around what I'm saying.
Suck it up,
the
Justin.
Name of like, just getting it done more effectively.
Yeah.
And with other people, I won't necessarily do that because I'm not as comfortable with them. I haven't been with them for 10 years. I don't know necessarily how they're going to take that information.
But I'm stubborn
home.
and spiteful. So it's like if you like say something to me, and even if it makes sense, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm still not gonna though. You know, it's like, but I know I was out of key.
So ultimately, what it comes down to is you know how to communicate with each other. So the communication in the band room is different. You like earlier when I was asking you when you got here, like you said, it's more passive aggressive communication. Is that just for the sake of not making the other band members feel uncomfortable?
No, I think that was more of a joke. I think, but
no, when we go into practice, we pretty much check our married relationship at the door, and when we go in,
how do you do that?
I think the biggest
that's a lie. First of all, debunk that. That does not happen.
I am not making you bread tomorrow morning.
So I think
no vegan bread for you, sir.
I'm not vegan. Just to put that out there, I like the meat. I like all the meats. But
yeah, it's a PG podcast, sir.
Hey, that's what she said. But no, I don't know. Like I think like the biggest thing is that like sometimes people think that like if she thinks something's a good idea, they automatically think that I think it's a good idea, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, and
to retain the
that's why we
in that
have
situation.
to like make sure that it's like, hey, just because she has an idea, it doesn't mean that like that's 50% of the band bringing an idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense at all.
So you have to be very clear that I think we should make this song 2 minutes and not 3 minutes.
Well, a lot of the times, sometimes I might speak out and say something in the band, and it's like, and sometimes like, and it doesn't happen anymore at all, you know, or anything. But maybe it might be like, oh, okay, you know, like so we'll go with that, and then it's like, but then Jade goes, she might have a completely conflicting idea from what I have, and it's like, so we just want to make sure that like, hey, like, both of our ideas are equal, you know, and we don't want to make it seem like we don't ever want to come to the band and be like, you know, like we're one thing, you know what I mean? Like versus, you know, like
right. You don't want to make it like you're teaming up against them,
because you know what it's like when
them.
Yes, and you know what it's like when you're in a band, and I'm sure you've been in a band before where it ends up being 3 versus 1 or 2 versus 2. You know what I mean? When it comes to like making a big decision or something like that.
I've never experienced that at all.
Ever at all.
We know.
So, you know, and it's like,
weirdly enough, like me and you don't like when it comes to split decisions, like we're usually on opposite sides of it.
A lot of the
like
times,
it's usually I end up siding with Zach for some reason.
Yeah, and
like we end up seeing the same side of it, and then you and John sometimes kind of see the other side of it.
Yeah, I like to approach things very analytically. Like to go back to kind of like how I think me and you kind of are similar, you know, where it's like it's got to make sense for me to do it.
And then me and Zach are like
fucking
little
do it.
Spirits floating in the wind, just
so
doing
it's like,
whatever feels right in our heart.
Yeah, so me and John are very like everything's got to be organized and got to be like, you know, much more like, you know, like if once things get discombobulated, it's like
So you just told me the secret to why your band works, and that's because you have two people in the band that are striving for organization.
In different ways, though, and even that, and so it's
and that's very, very true. Because a lot of times, like we were talking earlier, like all the the bands that we were in, you have one person who just wants to be the creative force, and another person who's striving to organize it, and that's the person that's stressing out.
Yeah.
And
I think everybody in this band kind of knows their strengths and leans into them when it comes to roles, as far as like getting in touch with people, doing business, organization, creativity, lyric writing, like.
And this is why you have your shit
planning,
together.
Long term. Well,
right.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's the illusion.
We kind of all, I feel, understand what we're best at and concede the things that we're not good at to people better suited within the band for those tasks.
I want to say that I think that carries over to your performances, because when I see you guys play, you can tell that the band, everybody knows what everybody else is doing. Yeah. And like you're saying, everybody's playing to their strengths, as opposed to I'll watch other bands play and they're all kind of following just one guy. And you're like, yeah, that band probably operates with that one guy telling everybody what to do and how to do it. And it doesn't really like carry across that, in a performance, that presence of like everybody can just go off and shine. It doesn't make for a whole. It just makes for,
And I think,
I get what you're saying.
I think writing too, coming back to like everybody being creative, is that like I think that's also a big part about us, is that like we can write together, and we got a couple of songs that we might knock out in the practice and write together, but for the most part, it's like if like we have songs that like we like right now, each one of us, like me, Zach, and Jade, all have songs that like we're working on
developing.
Yes, and it's like, and we'll get to them eventually, and I think that helps with just the fact that we're all open-minded and we're not like, oh, like we're a punk band, you know what I mean, or we're an alternative band, or we're
don't limit yourself by genre or style.
Absolutely no walls around.
Yeah, it's like we want to just do, but at the same time, if you keep the punk mentality, you can do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're authentic to yourself.
That's right.
True, very true.
So it's like, and that's kind of why when people ask like, well, what are you kind of? It's like we always go back to like, well, we're kind of punkish to be like our bass line, I guess, because it's like we just do whatever the fuck we want, and that's kind of like the epitome of punk rock in a way, like it's like it can be chaotic and still be pretty, if that makes sense, in certain things, I don't know.
It's impressive that y'all can keep it pretty civil with your wife playing in the band, because my experience hey bro, my old lady's is pretty legit. It's going to come in the band, and they come in, it's a disaster. 98% of the time, it's a disaster because, and you know this.
Well, that was just that one band that you were in.
No, there's like 14 bands I was in.
What other 14 bands?
I can't, like, if I'm in a band with you guys, I can't say to her, like, hey, I'm going to disagree with this. I don't like this. I think you should change this without the husband or the boyfriend.
No, we
and that
want
was
that.
From the moment I joined the band, I remember having this conversation with you, actually, saying that if we were going to do this and I was going to be part of this, that I had to be able to trust that he was going to treat me like everyone else, and that everyone else would treat me like they would treat him. I didn't want to go in with this feeling that if I had an idea that someone didn't like, that they wouldn't feel comfortable telling me, because, I'm Justin's wife. I wanted to just be the bassist or
it's like
the second vocalist. When we're at practice, it's not, oh, Justin's wife has a different opinion. It's, oh, our bassist has a different opinion, and if you don't agree with it, I needed to know that they would feel comfortable enough to tell me, and they have. We've never had a problem with it.
But you guys are all best friends, so you work really,
I think we
really
work pretty
well
good together.
Yeah, and it's like I said, like me and her been together for 10 years. Me and Zach went to high school together, and Zach and John actually knew each other. They used to go to shows back in the day when Zach was in school and stuff like that. And then he introduced me to John like 10 years ago. John was in a band called Two Sizes Too Small.
Oh,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was with them, and so he did the kind of pop punk thing, and even back in high school, the three of us always talked about getting together and jamming. But John started with his career pretty much, and me and Zach were dumb little fucking kids that were like, we want to go play music, and so it's like it took us 10 years, but now we're finally getting to do it, and it's like, but Yeah.
Well, you sound very, very mature beyond your years for
And look,
being in a functional band because
Mitchell's 57.
That's true.
If I look like that when I'm 57, I'm
Because
cool
we've
with
been
it.
in a ton of bands where not even half of that maturity was in the room, and it's that much harder. Which with your bands that you were in before, I'm sure you experienced some of that like early on, but now like what you have is just it's golden because that's exactly I think what everyone, or at least anyone who's trying to be serious about playing music, whether it's originals or covers, strives for is to have that feeling where everyone's on the same page. We're all trying to accomplish something together and being able to work together to do it. And I would say in an original band, that's even more difficult to attain. It's just way more challenging because
it's really weird how it all came together. It's just.
I will say, like, I think one of the most unique things is to be able to work with 4 people and have like. Because
yeah, but you're also working with your wife.
Yeah,
who you know how to communicate with.
Well,
so
but even though and to go back to like me and her, like we approach music so totally differently that it
almost
kind of
impossible
conflicts
for us to work together on music until very recently.
In a band setting.
Why?
Because okay, for him, everything is a lot more analytical. It's very theory based.
I was gonna say, is it because of influences? Your influences are so drastically different.
No, our influences
actually,
are
we
very
listen to the
similar.
same type of music.
But
your
he's
approach,
yes.
Yeah, his approach is very different. Mine is not theory based. I don't know theory, and I'm not
I don't
very
really
willing
know theory
to
either
learn.
that well. Just
I just kind of.
Nobody at this table knows theory.
Okay,
yeah.
We're on
Good.
board.
There
Yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Get out of my
I
face
feel
with
super
that.
comfortable.
Oh my God!
let
Last
me-
weekend we were at the bar.
Let me take my
and
monocle
I got
off.
into an argument about.
Yeah, Mitch
fucking
almost got
theory.
beat up.
I'm just
over
at the
theory.
bar having a drink, trying to have a good time.
Almost got beat up.
And this asshole starts arguing with me about A minor chords and like wanting to like
What a
question
weird
me like
conversation
yeah, it
to
was
be
like
in
so
at a
it was, I'm
bar.
like, dude, I'm trying to listen to the band. Why are you asking me what chord is at the 7th fret
No,
off the
he's
4th
not,
string?
He's not like
No,
that
no,
bitch. He's
no.
just like when we're doing something, he'll be like, "Oh, well, you should maybe look at it from this direction." And I'm just the type of person where I'm like, I'm looking at it from the direction I'm gonna look at it from.
You're
and
like
that's
you're
that.
like, Justin, you need to shut your mouth and let me figure this
like
out.
I know what he's saying is helpful, but I'm like, this is just how I want to do it.
I think
and
like,
that's where we tend to clash, is our approach on how to work through things.
Okay.
Even if
like
the
my
destination is the same.
theory is learning what notes not to play, and then I go from there. So it's like if we're writing something, it's like I know that if we're playing these chords, that these notes will work, So then it's kind of like, and I'm a trial and error person where I'm like, all right, let's play it every way until we just find the one way we like best, which can be aggravating working with me. But then at the same time, it's like if Zach goes like, hey, like, why don't we do this chorus like this? It's like, let's try it like that, like that way. Because like, you know how it is. Sometimes you might play with somebody and they'll be like, you almost have to like break their arm to get them to just try it your way, and you can tell they're just going through the motions. So
Right.
All right, back to my way,
That's
and
me.
it's like,
Right.
and
Well,
it's
this is why this is so awesome to have you guys on here, because you're both creative forces, and you're a creative force together and separate as in what you're saying. And this is fantastic. This is like, this is the kind of shit that I was hoping, like when we started this podcast, I was hoping that we'd be able to talk about on here. Like, how do you fucking make this shit work? Because being in a band, a lot of people don't realize being in a band, there's so many different aspects. I mean, like, the easiest go-to I always say is it's like managing a business, because of all the different things you have to fucking think about and worry about, and promotion and blah, and the writing and the creative blah, blah, blah. And you're here saying this is how we make it work. And this is also how we make it work when we're not in a band. And we get along and don't kill each other.
Not
Sometimes.
yet. We have not yet killed each other.
Well, I figured it out because your boy AP just said that Jade just runs the show.
Oh my
Yeah.
This is
God.
all a lie. Everything
him
you
to
said is a
stop.
lie.
No, it's not the case.
That's what he said.
I am
I
just
don't
25%
know.
of one whole.
I was
Okay.
I mentioned the house shows. Have you guys played house shows?
we want to play house show.
We
That
would
was
love to
actually
play a
like
house show.
like if Zach could choose between playing the Coliseum
Oh
and
my God,
playing
Zach would
like
pick
a
a house
tour of
show
house
in a
Okay,
shows, like,
so
somewhere.
I was kind of curious about that. Was one of the things I was curious about because me and Phil, we're old over here. And
I'm not.
when we were your age, house shows was the shit. We loved playing house shows because it's kind of like anything goes, and you're in a tiny little bitty room with a bunch of drunk people,
Yeah.
and it was way more fun for us to play house shows than it was to play bars. And so my question I wanted to ask was, if you played house shows, and if so, was that still the case? Were they way more fun? Because I haven't been to a fucking house show, and since probably the last one I played.
I think we're almost entering the ages of like where house shows. It's almost like to the point to where if we got invited to a house show, we'd probably just be invited simply because we could bring the alcohol. More than likely at this point,
Old dudes.
it's like, but we want to do more. We want to do stuff like that because it's like that's like I don't know. Like I said, like we'd rather play in front of like 15, 20 people in a tiny ass room, like something like this.
Yes.
That's going balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Then-
by the way.
Can we?
Well, that's the closest
Absolutely.
thing. Back in my time, we would sometimes like we in one of my old bands, we were going to play a show in Hattiesburg and it ended up getting rained out. It was a terrible, terrible setup of a show that was outdoors on the back of a flatbed. One of those,
I did that in Laurel.
Really? Yeah.
Laurel Palooza. It still goes on.
Oh man, this was like a haunted house in July, so it was great. It made a lot of sense. Yeah. So it got rained out, and
I don't know what this is.
yeah, it got rained out. So we had some people drive up to Hattiesburg to watch us play, and we were like, well, fuck it, let's just go back to our jam room, and everybody come there. And it's like, so we would do things like that, where it's like we would just like the 10 people that came to Hattiesburg to watch us play just came back to our jam room to drink and watch us play, and we were all underage, so we probably were able to drink there anyway. So we probably had more fun. So.
It always ends up being a good time when it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, that and when you can crowd surf and touch the roof, like that's
yeah.
like that's a lot of fun. So yeah, but
So your first house show will probably be at Mikhail's house. Is that right? Right next to you.
yeah, not that works for me.
You don't have very far to transport your equipment.
Dude, I play a combo amp. It's all good.
Phil over here. He had a house show
I sure
not too
did.
long ago.
Man, and you want to talk about like we were even envious of that. Like we were watching that go on. We were like, motherfucker, and like
Oh, it was so
he
much
did it.
fun.
This son of
It
a
was
bitch
so
really
much
did
fun.
it.
I have videos and pictures from that show that I can't put online. Like we had so
That's
much
what a
fun.
house party is supposed to be, though.
Pepper left my house at 5:50 a.m. I was like, dude, I'm
Did he-
spent. Like,
Did he? I was gonna say, did he leave it by choice?
I don't remember. But we got into some deep shit on the back porch. Those early hours of the morning. But it was fun. And my plan was I was going to do it again. Like I was like, oh, well, 3 weeks from now we're doing this again because this was awesome. But they started changing the laws on having groups together more than like 6 people or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
And it was too risky to do it. And then you saw my amazing renovation in my house.
Dude, it looks so good.
And that, thank you. And now I'm kind of nervous about having all these.
Oh my god, with your white couch.
Yeah, right. Cocaine white. Yeah, it's a really nice couch.
That's Snow White.
It's
bro.
white leather.
You guys have the new EP out, and can you tell us about what the songs are about and how long it took to write the songs? Because I noticed before the EP came out, like when I first came across you, you were doing singles. You were putting out singles, and and those were, I guess, ones that you were just recording yourself and releasing.
We
But
got
then-
one of them still up. That's a single.
And then now you have the EP out. So can you talk a little bit to us about what the process was for writing that and what some of the songs are about, and also pop culture references?
We I think I'm trying to think. We did 3 singles originally that were self-produced, and one of them is still up. And we worked with that one with a guy named Michael Halacia who helped us, and he's the one who mixed it down, and we used a lot of his nice equipment, and he took care of a lot of the back end stuff. And the other 2 were very, very rough, and those were kind of like the earlier stuff. And honestly, it's kind of like sad because it's like that's probably our more punk stuff was kind of like some of that more early stuff. And we ended up like with the EP, I think we wrote one song all together. Street Chicken was all together, and Spaghetti Policy which is the It's Always Sunny reference. That one was the first one that you brought to the band as a
Spaghetti
full
Policy.
song.
But was that your idea to call it that?
It was kind of. I think it was
we have
like
a
project name that was floating around.
We use
and
project names a lot.
We called it Spaghetti Policy and did not want to change it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we but yeah, for a lot of those songs, some of them were kind of like hanging around for a while. Some of them we knocked out. Like I think that Street Chicken Spaghetti Policy and Entire Life Crisis were 3 relatively newer ones that ended up being on the EP.
I think those were like the most collaborative.
Yeah, and
the other songs I think were more things that had been established before the band was like truly together. But were very good and needed to be recorded and adapted to the full band.
Yeah.
And then as we got together and we started collaboratively writing songs like Spaghetti and Street Chicken. So I guess if they have a big difference in sound, that might be.
Yeah.
Like I remember you when you were in here recording for Pets for Frets talking about the titles, but the titles don't reflect what the actual meaning of the song is about.
They're almost entirely
yeah. It's
nonsensical.
just,
so is it like personal accounts or is it?
Some of them are, and some of them are there. We have a couple of songs and some of them aren't ones that are out yet, but like Zach's got one called like "Assuming the Lid Serves Its Function," and that's something that his boss told him one time, like kind of like passive aggressively, like assuming the lid serves its function, it will be fine. And it was like song title, and then other ones end up being like one of our songs, like one of our oldest songs is "I Don't Care If You Broke Your Elbow," and we did that one here for Frets, and that's a Vine from like 2016, and that was like one of the first ones that we did, and
then some of them are just done like Street Chicken.
We have
just because there's a chicken that roams around our neighborhood, and I've been trying to catch it for like 2 years straight, and we just refer to it now as Street Chicken.
We'll be practicing, and you'll just hear it.
You'll hear it like
in the
making
background.
chicken noises down the road.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like that one kind of bled in, and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Glass Elephant. I think a lot of people have elephants that are glass and produce smoke. Maybe,
the little incense elephants.
No, but incense go well with these elephants. Like, so it's like things like that, Like there's a couple little like sly references if you dig deep enough,
How do you approach the songs with bass? Like do you come to practice and they're like, here's a loose chord structure, and do you figure out the root notes, or do you like just play by ear?
When we first started and the songs are being brought to me already fully established, the bass had been programmed. So it was already written for me in probably like 3 of the songs.
Do you just throw that out the window and then reapproach it your own way?
Now I kind of am, honestly, because when I first joined the band, I'd never played bass before. I played acoustic guitar for 8+ years, played piano, but like I didn't know how to play the bass. I didn't know how to write bass lines. So I took what was written and I learned how to play the bass by learning to play these songs and playing live. And then now over the course of the last year and a half, I'm much more comfortable with my instrument. I understand how to write bass lines. And so now writing, I kind of just feel it out. I go by ear, what I feel the song calls for, Now,
are you really into gear? I know Justin is into pedals. Are you into gear?
Dude, I'm not into gear at
okay,
all.
because I was going to ask
get
you.
Get out of here. Call the police. Call 911.
Your bass guitar.
Oh my God, I love my guitar. The process of picking that out was really important to me. But as far as my head or my cab or pedals or anything, I just
like your pickup configuration.
That
I couldn't tell you.
Unreal.
I think it's really cool because her bass it's a Mustang,
yes,
but it has a P and a J bass configuration, which I find is really interesting because you get the best of kind of both worlds with it. Yeah,
one of them doesn't work now, so we get one.
We need a little bit of some soldering done. So
okay,
but
all right,
yeah. But yeah, like pickup configuration, that was one of the selling points. That, and it's a short scale bass, and I thought that we thought maybe that would be easier for her transitioning to a larger scale instrument to be easier on her hands. It'd be closer to a guitar. And some of the guitars I play in the band are actually shorter scale guitars, like the Duosonics and stuff like that.
But your bass is I believe it's the Fender version,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the Squire version of that bass in short scale, and I love recording on it, and it sounds so good.
It's so punchy.
Dude, I love
straight
it
in,
so much.
straight to an amp. Don't really need.
And honestly, we tried to kind of like mess around with some pedals and stuff when I first started playing, but
Yeah,
truly we don't need them.
we would
the
use
bass-
chorus and recording. I think we do use a little bit of distortion to kind of thicken things up a little bit at post. But yeah, like when we're playing live,
The authentic sound of it is.
it's just her straight into an old Ampeg pretty much. So
Speaking of playing live, when I've seen you guys play, and this is another thing that I say, which you remind me of me, is that you go off to the side and thrash. You know,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
you're doing your thing. You're in the zone, and I was like, oh man,
I really,
I remember being like that.
I told you.
it hurts now.
Why?
But, no, just physically, like my neck.
Oh, right, yeah.
But,
you're so into it, and that conveys.
That's
you
what
know.
that's what I enjoy doing the most, and it's like, and I enjoy it all. Like I like playing, and I like doing stuff in the studio, and then getting your shit afterwards, and being like, that's me, that's cool, you know, and stuff like that. But I think like just getting to play in, if there's like 5 people that care that I'm playing, you know what I mean, and it's like, and just want to give them a fun show, you know what I mean, because it's like, and it's not against anybody else, you know, but it's like, I'm not the best guitarist, put it down, but it's like,
But you're into it.
but yeah,
and
when
that's all that matters.
yeah, when I
it
play
doesn't matter
on
how
stage,
good you
it's
are.
like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, fuck, like, come up here and like fucking headbang next to me, then let's go. You
That's
know?
right.
It's like,
Yeah, like just the
so.
fact that you're up there and you're into it. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, this is what it's all about. And this is where I get old and say, I'm so glad that you guys are not playing alternative metal
There we
on
go.
the coast.
There it is.
You knew I was gonna bring it up because there's 5 billion fucking bands all on the coast that are alternative metal, which is fine, which is great, you know. But you guys are not, and I'm always rooting for the underdog. And even when me and Phil were playing together, there was still not a lot of punk bands or indie bands back then. There was always like I think the ratio probably has always been like for every like one punk band or non-metal band, there's at least 10 other metal bands, and Phil's usually in half of them. But
I'm
yeah.
in the better middle.
But yeah, I think it's fantastic. You know, even with your background history in those type of bands, that you guys are doing something completely different than the majority of bands on the coast. And not only that, but you also have Jade bringing her abilities to the band despite her stage fright.
I don't
doing an awesome job, by the way.
I
so
think
much.
I think the stage fright has kind of worked itself out now.
No,
so
yeah,
it's
I
like,
went
but,
through a period of like mental transformation. Where I was
But,
like, oh, I just don't give a fuck anymore.
You're like, I just got this neck tattoo. And we're, just
No.
we're gonna play this show tonight. Everybody just needs to chill
yeah,
out.
she's totally.
That's
into it
right.
now.
You got a neck tattoo,
I
right?
did.
Yeah, she's more metal than the rest of us.
I'm getting a much bigger neck tattoo pretty soon too.
News break.
Sorry, Grandma.
Oh my god, she didn't.
Yeah. What is? What? Yeah. What,
I went to see her today, and I was like, this the whole time.
Why are you wearing that collar? Is it the 90s again? Is that kind of back with the chokers?
My grandma's watching. She's gonna drag you for impersonating her like that.
I don't sound like that.
are you comfortable showing it?
My neck tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't care. I don't know where the camera is.
Oh no, we see it. Oh,
Justin
that's
got one
nice.
too.
That hurt, right? It hurt like hell.
It
Where's
felt
yours
pretty
at, Justin?
weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not on your neck.
You can see my Daisy Dukes though.
Uh-oh.
God, this
You
is
gotta fit- yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you can
Look at that.
Wait.
holding it up to the microphone.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream
Oh,
work.
God.
What does it say? Boys Club or what?
Yeah.
Something like that. Justin's just back there doing squats.
I got a tattoo one time
this
and I
look like
passed
trash to you?
out. So I imagine that those sensitive areas hurt.
Were you drunk or?
No, I was 18. I got a tattoo on my leg, a legit tattoo. Let's see it, dude. It was a cool, dude. Hang on.
Here we go. Now it's his turn to stretch.
Look at that.
And you,
Sick.
He has
Let's
to bring
go.
up this travel tattoo. in
And I
every
passed
podcast.
out. I passed out. I
Wait,
straight
did you
passed out.
really?
Yeah, straight passed out. I was like, dude, it's so hot in here. And they're like, yeah, we're in Denver and it's snowing outside and it's everybody has jackets on. And I'm like, I'm so hot. And then they're like, dude, your face is white. I'm like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, bro. And this is nothing. Like, bikers get this shit all the time. And then I wake up, and everybody's fanning me on the
Oh
ground.
my god.
It's bad. I never got another tattoo.
So you blame the tattoo then?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was a bad artist.
You could get some painful ones. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
I don't know, it looks pretty legit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'll never get a tattoo again because it's terrifying to me because I had that bad experience. And you don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari,
you're not. Well, you
There you
did
have it.
though,
right?
But you did.
One tribal bumper sticker.
You don't put 2 bumper stickers on a Ferrari, right?
You put a
That's
you
what
put
they say.
you put a back decal on your Ferrari. That's what you did. You didn't put the bumper sticker. It's not on the paint, but it's on the windshield.
The only tattoo I'm ever gonna get again is like Salt Life on my forehead.
You
or
don't want to get
something.
any band
Clearly.
tattoos because it's a totally good idea to get a bunch of band tattoos on your arms and stuff like that from your old bands.
Mitchell found that funny.
Oh,
Well, because I have one. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why it's hilarious. Because
Yeah.
I was the only
I
one
don't
that got
regret
it.
it. I don't regret it. I wasn't the only one that got mine, and like that actually the weekend band Cephalosha. Yeah, that's the J Sharp. That was our tuning. That's what we tuned the 8 strings
Really?
to.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a great idea that I did at the jam room drunk, and and then that was we all got that in the cover band, and that was my first band, and
See,
the
that's
first tattoo and
that's
stuff like
fun.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's unity right
Yeah.
there.
Nice.
That's unity at its best. Yeah, I was
All of us but Chris McKenzie, because Chris McKenzie doesn't have any tattoos, but yeah, but
Routine disintegrity.
Dude,
we would draw his on with a Sharpie every now and then.
when I picked that tattoo off the wall, I was convinced that I was going to be the coolest
You
dude.
were like, yo, that's the one.
I was like, dude, all these women are just going to drop in front of me. I'm like, whoa,
Dude, like,
look
you're
at this dude's
you
tribal tattoo.
You're
on
gonna
his
win a
leg.
fight just off of somebody looking at it. Is it
Right?
Like,
You just
is
flex
is
your
it like a
calf
beard
at 'em.
thing though, where if you see somebody with a bigger tribal tattoo, you're like, fuck, like they win.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
I was-
fight him.
I was like, The Rock, Phil Kron, there's no difference, right?
Goldberg, like yeah. We
Yeah,
can,
no-
we can go into wrestling all you want
Oh,
to. I'm
God.
down for that.
Oh man. No, nobody. Yeah, I was the only. Everybody was supposed to get a tattoo in my band. I was the only one that got it. So whatever.
Did they like back out, or were they just like, no, we're not gonna
I
do
think.
that?
Well,
They were-
I did it, and
They're
then
planning on firing him.
and
Then he
then-
got the
yeah.
tattoo, and they're like, "Fuck!
Yeah, I don't-
Like, we
they-
got to keep him around now."
they
like,
didn't. I don't think it was. They both had tattoos, but I think it was more of a monetary thing. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna really pay that much to get the
feel that.
bullshit that you want.
Yeah,
you
get the
know.
jam room tattoo, bro.
It's a good thing it wasn't a suicide pact. You'd be.
Yeah.
Got jokes over here.
Yeah,
So
I had to do it.
So you guys were recording your singles, and then you did the EP. And one of the things I wanted to tell you before I forget about it and drink too much whiskey is that when you were recording your singles and releasing your singles, I thought that was fucking fantastic because of the philosophy that I subscribe to, in that when a band records themselves and they put in the time and the energy and the effort to learn the tools, how to represent themselves, there is no more truer form than that. Now, I know there's a whole fucking spectrum that it may come out sounding shitty. It may come out sounding lo-fi. It doesn't sound the way you want. You want it to sound more like this, more like that. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you did it yourself, and that your DNA is now part of that recording. Before you turn it over to somebody else who may or may not understand what your ultimate goal of how to sound is, when you do it yourself, there's no, and I'm saying this because it applies both to Northern Lights as well as your solo EP, that recording it yourself, you have control over how to represent yourself, and you have every little, and I know you guys, found a bottleneck point in trying to, get shit done, but I just wanted to get that
I
out there.
agree 95%. Because there's one little thing, there's one little caveat that happens when you record yourself that people don't tell you, and that's when you have to mix yourself down, you absolutely drive yourself insane.
It's a nightmare.
Because-
It's an absolute
and,
nightmare.
And I think that was a big problem that we had, was that, like, and especially now, I think that's something we were going to revisit definitely in the band down the line. It might not be in the same like facet of like doing like a full band production, but maybe some more acoustic stuff or something that might be a little bit more easier to do, like a little bit more attainable. When we had early on was like, like Jade stated, she was kind of new on bass. Zach was newer on vocals and stuff like that. And now we're mixing ourselves,
mixing vocals is
learning
so
how to record, learning these instruments, learning these all together. And then it's like, we still do pre-production on everything we do, because we want to make sure when we go into a studio that we have it tight and we know it works. And that way when we go into a studio, it's just kind of like, not that we're not open to any other ideas as far as like if somebody's like, hey, why don't you try this note here, or why don't you try this melody here, but we know going in that like nothing's going to clash, everything's in key and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to mixing, sometimes it's better for somebody else not to be mixing your leads, or better for somebody else not to be mixing your vocals, because you might sit and like fine tune it too much to the point to where you hate the song
You're
yourself.
presented with, you know, everything from here to here that you could possibly do to it, and you've heard it every single way from point A to point B, and it becomes really hard to kind of stand back and understand where it's supposed to sit amongst all these ways that it possibly could.
I think that is true, but I also know that there is a point when you are sitting there and you're mixing and hearing yourself back, and it blends just right to the way that you're
100%.
like, oh, this is how it needs to. This is how you heard it in your head is now how you're hearing it back.
And I think one key thing is like and especially when you go to somebody and when you show that like, hey, look, we got pre-production, we got our scratch tracks done, we got a scratch drum done to give an idea for as far as everything. When you go in and you have like everything prepared, I feel like when you're going in to record, if you find the right person, and Joey was that person, like everything we used like on our EP was our stuff, and we went in as far as like we used, you know, like my amp, you know, like we did everything with our stuff. And it wasn't like in previous bands when I was younger going back, you leave with their sound, not your sound. And that's not always a bad thing, because maybe your sound, you know, in philosophy, yes, you should always leave with your sound, but sometimes, man, your sound might be shit. And it's like, looking back in hindsight, like my sound might have been shit, you know, or my knowledge of like how I would mix my live sound and then to go into a studio and figure out how to get the fullness without washing out the bass to leave room for her. It was a lot of like learning curve. And then you end up in a situation where you got like maybe the guitarist is mixing everything down and he's so focused on the guitars, and then the drummer's like, dude, my cymbals ain't even in this fucking mix. And you're like, oh shit, you're right, because I was so focused on the guitars. And then it's like, you know, and it's like my vocals, like there's not even vocals in this part, you know, and you're like, oh fuck, you're right, because I was focusing on this. And so having somebody, if they know exactly, kind of not exactly what you want, but if you can bring them and be like, hey, this is what we're going for and this is what we're about to do, and can you make this sound good, you know?
And that's what I was going to tag on, was that record yourself, definitely record yourself, but then afterwards you bring in like your pre-production stuff. Probably would stand up to any studio if you just have the producer or the mixer come in and adjust those same tracks instead of going and re-recording everything. But yeah, I totally agree with all that, because you start listening to too much guitar or too much drums, and the drums are loud, the cymbals are louder, you know, and it doesn't sound even, and you need to stand back and be able to objectively
it's hard to gain
mix.
Perspective when
and
you
also
spend that much time in it, you know.
And then it's like, it always seems like with us too, it's like one of us might take over a mix and like be like primarily focused on like working on the production of it. And then you almost feel bad, because it's like we're all working a lot, we're all trying to practice, and you're doing this on your side and stuff, and now you're like, you know that like whoever in the band is like focusing on it is super fucking focused on it. And so it's like, but when you're paying somebody to do it and they send it back and you're like, nah bro, that's wrong, you know what I mean? Because you know, it's like you're getting what you pay for. But then it's like when you're doing it with friends and stuff, that also kind of becomes a tense line of like, you know, like, I know you're trying your best, but my guitar's not here, you know what I mean, or something like that. And it becomes like, I guess it's like sometimes in certain instances, like when we're doing singles, I think it's good to do singles on your own, and if you can, and release them and stuff, because it keeps everything fresh, and you have total control over when you get to put things out and stuff. But when it came to us doing the EP and the amount that we were sinking into it and what we wanted, because we wanted to do live drums. I know a lot of people program drums, and there's nothing wrong with programming drums, but John was very adamant that he wanted like a live studio drum sound, you know, like
Absolutely.
And all of our older the demos we did, we ran his electric drum set into our DAW, and then we used Easy Drummer as the samples pretty much.
But the EP you did with Joey, you used acoustic drums?
That was acoustic drums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That was acoustic drums.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of when you record, because y'all drill the songs so much and you have this idea in your head of how you want it to sound. I'm a huge fan of sending that thing off to get mixed by some way outside party.
Yeah.
And you are taking a risk, because you could tell him what you want all day, but you could get it back and it's trash. But he's got that, if you get with a legit pro, he's got that perspective that you don't have. Because you wrote the song, you've drilled the song 1,000 times, and you have it makes you clouded on how the song's going to turn out. So I love sending that song off and having some outside dude mix it, and master it, and you get it back. And
as long as you trust that person that you find,
and that
right,
and I think that's a key thing. And with Joey, like, all right, like I don't have like the best equipment or anything like that, but I really do. Like, I like gear and stuff like that, and I like collecting guitars as much as I like playing guitars and shit like that, you know. And so it's like, I really do want like our sound to be like our sound. And Joey, I've known Joey since my first original band, you know. So it's like Joey's, you know, like he's known, like he's heard the sound, and even with him, you know, it's like we were doing things. I remember there was a point where he was like, this isn't right. He was like, let me go back and let me remic everything. You know what I mean? And he went back and remic'd everything. And I was like, I trust you, dude. And he came back and everything was like, and it was like, boom. It was like, it was just the way that it was like he heard it. And at the time because, you know, when you're recording with somebody, you almost just have to trust. It's like, okay, this might not sound how I want it to sound while we're recording it, but as long as it sounds good post, you know what I mean? Like, cause you're not hearing anything mixed and stuff. You don't know how everything's going to blend together. And, but it's like, he caught on to the guitars early and he was like, well, let me go back. And like, he was like, let's try this mic placement. We went back and we used 2 mics on all the songs instead of just one, and really thickened everything up. And it was like little things like that where it was like, we would have probably spent 8 hours watching a YouTube video to get that mic placement, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why you pay that money. That's why you do that. Yeah. And Joey knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So if we were doing one song, you know, like, yeah, it's like we would spend time working on it, you know, but like doing a whole EP, yeah, it's good to pay.
Jade.
Yeah.
You just recorded an EP yourself.
I did.
Can you tell us about recording that EP?
It was a process.
A different process than how Northern Lights writes
Yeah.
songs.
Did you record it yourself at home?
Yes. Every instrument, every vocal track, all the mixing, the recording, everything was done from my chair
Really?
in my living room.
Wow.
Is it the same chair that Justin's sitting in?
No. This is my comfy chair. It has an ottoman and a blanket.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's quite nice. But it was really weird because it was just me with an hour and a half while my son was taking a nap every day, or me, you know, if he had his tablet while he was eating lunch, getting 20 minutes to track something. And it was driving every single day and hooking my phone up with the files through the car speakers, driving around for half an hour with my son in the back seat, testing the levels, going home, adjusting things, getting back in the car, testing the levels again. And it was just that every single day for like 3 months.
Was there anything that you took from the recording process that you went into with Northern Lights into your own recording process for your EP?
I guess yeah. Just seeing like the order of operations, I guess, and which the best way to kind of begin something. And then the idea of, okay, you've put all of this together and you think finally like it's there, but it's not. That's just your scratch. And then you go do it all again, but a little bit better. I hate it so much because you're like, yes, it's here. Finally.
Sounds so good.
And then 2 days later you're like, yo, it's here, but it's not. Like, and it's doing it all again and starting from square one and being like, God, like, it took me so long to get that the way it was.
And sometimes the second time, I've done demos with Phil, and he's like, "Yeah, send me it with a BPM." You know, I'm like, but without the BPM, it feels more lively. He's like, no, send to me with a BPM so I can put the fucking drums down in time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh, but it just loses all the life.
But I can't do anything without a click track.
I feel that
Right?
so
Yeah.
deeply. Adjusting to the click track and the idea of abiding by the click track was so out of character for the way I approach music, because I want everything to swing and just
You want it
be
to be
like
organic.
liquid,
Yeah.
and to have to structure it like that was really weird for me.
It is.
But yeah, I got used to it.
It's necessary.
Yeah, it's very necessary.
You guys brought some instruments.
A couple.
Yeah, we gotta get
Just
to
a
this.
couple of small
Are
instruments.
you guys up for playing a Northern Lights song?
Oh, yes. Which one you want to do?
Can we start with spaghetti?
And this is, if I understand correctly, this is a very, very special rendition because you just created the piano arrangement.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing 3 songs, the 2 of us, and the arrangements are totally original that we put together for this podcast. And
Yeah, the KrohnKast sessions.
hold on, let me just scoot my chair quick.
So,
this way.
yeah, it's like,
Hey,
Ooh,
Justin,
There it
Are you
is.
singing on this?
no,
Okay.
I'm not. But yeah, like our, I think Zach and John heard these for the first time today too. So
Fresh. This is very fresh.
very fresh.
DJ Jazzy Fresh,
With
like
a
you.
C.
That's what we call them.
This
That
might,
Daddy Fresh.
This
Yep.
might go viral, so don't make any weird faces.
Oh
That's-
God. Okay.
All right, we'll give it a shot.
Go for it.
I caught you at a bad time. Drawing lines in the sand, time every step is a landmine. Never mind. Maybe we can try again in the summertime, like we've done 100 times. And maybe one day we'll get it right, 'cause you're the moon, and I'm an artificial satellite. Give me some space, I need to breathe, but don't leave me. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes. My hands on fucking fire, I sit back, I watch them burn, I never learn, and I'm so torn, I kill myself to keep you warm. Oh no, never make it out alive, and that's alright. Just keep me in your line of sight. Just keep me in your line of sight. Just keep me in your line of sight. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes. Paper dough crumble now before my eyes. Remind me of the good time, tell me all the good lies, keep up with your goodbyes.
fucking amazing. That was spaghetti policy, by the
Spaghetti
way.
policy, yeah.
What's your spaghetti policy?
What's your spaghetti policy? What is your expertise in bird law?
Milk steak.
Yeah.
So you guys played. So Justin, you said you played the Crest like 20 times before Northern Lights.
47 at least.
Oh, I'm sorry, 47.
Yeah.
And then you guys played the Crest recently.
Yes.
For a live stream. So tell me about that.
There was about the same amount of people there as normal local shows. So
Okay.
You're very comfortable.
Nothing's changed.
And it looked worse because it was such a huge building.
yeah.
Dude, that was so weird, actually.
Yeah, it was. I guess the weirdest thing was just because we had in-ears, so we didn't know this because we played first, and then Flying Raccoon Suit played after us, and so we didn't know. I guess we knew, but we didn't know the severity of it, like the fact that they turned off the monitors in the house and stuff like that, since everything was in-ears. So you heard only what the live sound was coming from the stage. So you heard drums and you heard the amps, but even our amps were turned sideways. That way, it would kind of be a little less noisy.
Yeah, you kind of had to do that here when you recorded for the Frets for Pets thing.
Yeah.
With Phil. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
he like had you turning
Yeah,
like real low.
So we didn't know, and when we were playing, it was like Flying Raccoon Suit. Like they all walked outside. We're sitting there like, fuck,
We
we,
were like,
must
God,
be
is
fucking
it us?
terrible.
Like
you
everyone
know?
left at once.
And then but they left because literally it was just quiet inside.
couldn't hear
it was
anything.
Like you could hold a conversation while the band was playing. Like
so
it
they
was
went
so
outside to watch the live
strange,
stream
'cause you
on
had-
their phones so they could hear the music.
Yeah, because
You couldn't hear it inside.
Yeah, because it was
'Cause
the-
totally just
yeah, it was everything
in-ears.
was coming through the
Oh,
in-ears. So
how
you
weird.
You could
Yeah,
hear
it
the,
was.
You
It
could
was
hear
weird.
the drums and you could hear the guitars depending on where you were standing, and but when it comes to like the vocals and everything, it just nothing. Like you couldn't hear anything.
So
at
it
all.
wasn't set up for a live audience.
It originally was, and I think like it was just kind of like one of those things. So like when we were setting everything up, I guess it was like a last minute thing. We're like, okay, like let's I don't know if they pulled the house down maybe to like make it not in case there was any slapback coming from that big of a room maybe or something.
Yeah.
You know. And that's what if I had to guess, it was something more like that. But we didn't think about it until we were listening to them play, and all you heard was like horns and drums, and you're like,
Which
oh
was
shit,
nice.
yeah. I mean, yeah, which still sounded great, you know. But yeah, we had to walk outside to listen to get just like their full experience to hear how everything
Yeah.
sounded. Stuff
Did
too.
they all have in-ears too?
I don't
It's a lot
know.
of fucking in-ears.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know they had
I think they were.
the singer had headphones.
Yeah, I
and
think they were using headphones. I'm not too sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it on my TV. It sounded fine. It sounded great.
Yeah, Joey, and that was another cool thing too, because like when we went in to do that, Joey recording us, and then he was doing that, so it's like he just set everything up, and we used like basically a lot of the same stuff that we used like on our EP was a lot of the shit that was just used
Cool.
in that pretty
Good.
much. It was like already not like pre-programmed, but he knew what to get at pretty much.
The live sound in there, I remember being quite the nightmare from the few times that me and Phil played there, especially on the bottom floor, on the first floor, because they had they were trying to angle the monitors up, but they were so high up that when you were on the first floor watching a band play, you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear vocals or anything, and it was like something was not right, and they never corrected it. And then I remember like when the Toadies came to play and they did like a sound check, and they're like, yeah, this is not going to work, we'll just bring our own shit in.
Yeah.
And they set up a whole new sound system just to play, so that you could hear the monitors and everything on floor level.
Yeah.
If you were on the second level on the balcony, it sounded fine because the fucking speakers were up that high.
Yeah.
But nobody could hear anything, on the floor, and it was weird. It was really, really weird. But when we played on the second floor, they had like floor speakers
Yeah.
set up. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool when we went up to those. I think I remember going up and we watched Defy Me play there one night. I don't remember who all else was on that one, but I remember going up. It sounded great up there as far as like, that's one of those venues. I really do hope they do more stuff.
yeah, I think that's what the sound's trying to do. They're trying to bring it back into the
Which is-
spotlight, but it's like also, like you gotta have the appropriate sound, you know, because if you're gonna have major national touring musicians come through and use that venue, or even have the venue rented out for any purpose of entertainment, you gotta have the correct sound in there.
I think that it's like such the perfect spot, because if you look at if y'all saw the thing that they're building on the Broadwater that everybody's talking about, and stuff, that looks amazing, you know. But it's like we have all these, like, look, man, like the Coliseum's a great venue. I mean, like, it's a Coliseum, it's gonna sound like a Coliseum, you know what I mean? But like that's like, it never sells out. Like, as far as, like, you know what I mean? Like, when's the last Coliseum show that wasn't country that you remember selling out?
Yeah, especially
now.
You know?
We're in a different era now.
Yeah. But it's like, if you look, it's like you have the Coliseum, you got Jones Park, which isn't doing shows as much anymore. They got the MGM Park, which they did a couple concerts early on that were poorly promoted, and, you know, I don't think we're really too up with the times. You got plenty of these huge venues, and I think Crest is that perfect one that can cater to local bands and cater to national bands. And
if it was done correctly, yes. I totally agree with you. I feel like when they renovated the Crest, it was set up for success, but the one key element that was not set up correctly was the sound. And you can't really have an entertainment venue if the sound's not done professionally. Correct.
To me, the sound, like having monitors on stage, was like a blast, because I'm so used to, like, we got 2 monitors and the drummer needs one and the singer needs one, so it's like you just got to listen to the cymbals, bro. Like, stay on time. And it's like, so playing stages that had full monitors was nice.
But they're trying to. I know that the sound wants to do monthly. Live streams from
really
there.
cool.
So it's kind of neat to have the streams from there, but it's also kind of hard to gauge, like, what kind of venue it is, because when we were watching you guys, I'm at home and I'm sending him screenshots. I'm like, look, you know, the lights are on there. But you can't see the, you know, you see you guys on the stage with these monitors, and, you know, it's just, you don't get that full, hey, this is a really tall ceiling, you know, like what kind of venue it is, you know, where you're coming from, with the. You know,
I do hope that I hope the live streams turn into shows. You know what I mean? In the future, I guess it just depends.
Definitely.
On when shows become.
I think they're fishing for someone to take over that venue and turn it into something like the House of Blues. But I guess that's what I'm saying is, like, to do that, you got to make it look like the House of Blues. You know, like, it's kind of a weird setup. Like, you're on the stage and your backdrop is glass. It's a glass wall,
which was kind of cool. I mean, like, because back in the day it was the LED screen, and that was cool that they could do graphics and shit neat while you're playing. You know, and it was kind of, I guess it's like when you were there, like when we were setting up, we really liked how it. I guess, like, when you're looking up and you see, because, like, the sun was setting when we were setting up and stuff like that, and that vibe was, like, really cool. But I see where you're coming from as far as, like,
selling it.
Yeah, I dig the vibe of, like, it almost being like, just because I'm from Biloxi, like, I'm born and raised in Biloxi, and I grew up in East Biloxi, so it's like I'm down for anything to be popping in East Biloxi, in downtown Biloxi and stuff. That's cool to me, just because that's, like, my backyard, you know. So it's like, I kind of like the old, like, rundown feeling. I get it if you, like, fill it up a little bit more, but it's like, it's kind of like a bigger version of, like, the Alabama Music Box, what that used to be back in the day. And it's like, and I think that the Music Box became the Music Box, like, over time. And I think if Crest had the opportunity, it could be something like along those lines.
Okay, so on that point, the Alabama Music Box, I felt succeeded because it was on Dolphin Street, and it had so many other bars offering live music as well. So, I mean, like, Phil's probably played at every bar on Dolphin Street, but here on the View Marché, you don't have that kind of competition. The closest thing would be the filling station at the end of the street, and you're gonna have.
I think Mermaid Bar does bands every now and then.
Every now and then.
Yeah,
but
at the time we even did a show at the Kraken, which was right down the road.
You did it. Tell us about that.
That was our only all ages show we got to do.
That was Mardi Gras. That was the beginning of this year. That was before we got shut down with COVID.
Right before.
Yeah, actually, that one we backed out of because of COVID. The one that you're thinking of, the Mardi Gras show.
Yeah, we played one.
No, I remember you and Zach were standing outside, hey, we're good.
That was for Mark Simmons' birthday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was for.
Hey, he's playing in what, Project 9 now?
Shout out to Mark Simmons.
Mark Simmons. Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Simmons.
I was trying to figure out what he was doing.
Egg Shaker's what I saw.
Is he playing bass in Project 9? I saw the video.
I saw a lot of different things.
And, like, Brent's playing bass, and then Mark's playing bass. So is he playing bass or second guitar?
Who's playing bass?
I thought I
somebody put in
saw
the
Mark
comments.
playing bass in the video.
But yeah, that
Somebody in
was
the comments solved this mystery.
That
All
was,
we can confirm is
that
there
one
was
was-
an egg shaker.
that was for Mark's birthday, and then we played a couple more shows after that, and then we were supposed to play literally like the weekend that COVID kind of came to Mississippi, and that was kind of like one of those I think they still did the show the Green Mantles played, but that was like right when everything was kind of starting to shut down, and we were like, we don't know if we should do it, and then like 2 days later it was.
Did you guys like the Green Mantles?
Yeah, we love the Green Mantles.
We're gonna
Shout out to the Green Mantles.
we're gonna have Lance on, and
Yeah, we got
I
Lance
think
coming
I
on.
think
Lance is the
next
shit,
month.
like,
Yeah, Lance
we-
is
Big
awesome.
money
Let's
Lance.
just do like a whole podcast on the Squeaky Lizard.
We should.
Like-
You know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah, and you should
Actually.
just have like rotating people come in that just have Squeaky Lizard stories.
I'm
That's a
sure.
great
I'm sure
idea.
Lance will tell us all about.
Lance has had some wild times.
What was it like playing in the Kraken? Like it was like you played in the corner where it's elevated, right?
We played on the floor.
Yeah.
We let the
There,
drums
But
be
you had
on
the drums on the riser,
John
okay.
was on the riser. The rest of us
Yeah.
were on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. That
So
was-
yeah, that's pretty fucking punk.
Dude,
yeah,
that
yeah,
wa-
it was pretty cool. I mean, we were like tripping over chords, and people were like, basically just from me to you, but it was like a cool vibe, you know?
My question was, did they sit at the tables and play games, or did they
Both.
Both.
watch? Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
So your friends were in there watching you play, and then the regulars are sitting at the tables playing games.
That's kind of how it started, and cause
Yeah, there were some people who were like hell bent on playing their games.
Why
and
are you in
nothing
here
else.
making noise? I am trying to concentrate on rolling
Exactly.
this
started.
die.
It started with comedians,
Yeah.
and that was a little bit more different because like they're playing the games, the comedians are trying to obviously like,
Right.
get
It
to
was
their
tense.
punchlines.
It's such a
and it was a little tense.
clash.
But
But by the time we went on, it was everybody was there because
there was a
yeah,
lot.
but
there to
that
hear
was like
some
a 20.
music.
I remember the flyer. There was like 20 bands on that.
yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, like even the regulars would know by then. Like, hey, I probably shouldn't come play today because
Yeah.
there's going to be 20
Which-
fucking live bands playing.
I mean, like we used to play D&D and stuff like that, so we weren't mad.
Yeah.
Like,
You guys feeling like playing another Northern Lights song?
Yeah, let's get to it.
which one you want to do?
Woo! I hear
Okay.
these jams.
Let's get
I want them to get to the play of the song where they wrote just for this.
You want to do that one?
No.
Okay, we can do that one now.
Okay.
Not yet.
We'll do Street Chicken, and we'll do the instrumental later. My flashlight's on. I don't know how to turn it off.
I'm going to go get some ice.
Okay. Yeah, go get some more ice.
We're about to lose probably 15 viewers.
Are you singing on this?
No,
You can.
your boy
if you
don't
want.
sing. He yells off key.
Okay, check. Play the chord. Okay.
Is that good?
This body is a fucking haunted house. Tear the whole thing down. But these ghosts still live in the back of my brain, saying, hey girl, yeah, wake the fuck up. There's a time bomb inside of your guts, but the location's a little bit vague. I got a useless size and a useless tongue. I can shake it insides and my skin is numb. Holding it together for the sake of all the better days that everybody says will come. And something tells me I'm drowning alive. Zero sounding, I'm fine, yes I'm fine, yes I'm fine, yes I'm fine, but I'm done. Open up and let the water fill my lungs. I feel it coming on again. I try to explain away my mind has been. And I loved it again. I always break, but one day I'll win. I'm lying, living with the spirit tied. I know I'm wasting all my time, but I swear to God I'm trying. Could you catch me if I'm lying, living with the spirit dying? I know, I know. I feel it coming on again. I feel it coming on again. I feel it coming on again and on again. And I looked at it again. I always break, but one day I'll bend.
All right.
Yeah. Hopefully we didn't scare too many people away.
That was a tough one rhythmically.
What can you talk a little bit about what that song is about?
Street Chicken is about having anxiety. Specifically, I have a lot of health anxiety, hypochondria, and when it flares up, it's debilitating. And I wrote this when I was coming out of a deep cycle of health anxiety, and just kind of what it's like to know that it's done for now, but you will go through it again. Just kind of the feeling of like the inevitable that it will come back.
You regulating your anxiety, how do you go about trying to manage that?
I don't really it's really tough.
Do you do okay, every day I got to do 20 minutes walks, or I need to sit down with my guitar and just focus 30 minutes a day on writing something? Or?
Yeah, there's some different facets. I think that exercising and just making general efforts to be healthy help to kind of have something to put against it, to say, oh, well, you're doing these things. So
Preoccupation.
At least there's that. Yeah.
Right.
And then also, working on music and being able to sort of release those feelings.
Staying focused.
Is therapeutic.
Yeah, from a third person perspective, I feel like a lot of the times you let things build up, but it's like it all comes to a head, and then normally music is like the ultimate outlet after a while and stuff. And it's like, I guess the difference between me and you too is that you get really inspired to do music as far as off of personal things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's that really translates as you taking personal experiences. So I guess that's the difference between doing vocals and not, because
It's all about the vibe.
yeah.
You guys got a good vibe. I got a friend who has anxiety, and whenever we jam, my studio is very, 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 very small. It's like half the size of this room, and he's a pacer.
Yeah.
So he
Your boy.
paces constantly, no matter how big the room is.
Yeah.
And he needs that. He just can't stop that kinetic energy.
Yeah.
And then it takes probably 6 beers, and maybe an hour and a half later he'll sit down and he can just catch
sort
his
of
breath
decompress
and
from
then
it.
and then focus on what we're recording or mixing or whatever.
Yeah.
But that first hour and a half, it's just drink, pace, and then once he gets that out of the
You have to
system,
get that energy out.
yeah, he's regulated, and then he's like, oh, okay, now give me a keyboard and let me go.
Yeah. And I kind of relate to that in the opposite sense, where sometimes I feel even if it's just sitting in my car in total quiet for 5 minutes, just kind of get rid of a feeling of sensory overload, and just let everything kind of decompress.
Mhm.
That is helpful.
I do that with amplifiers. I just turn the amps up really, really loud in each ear and turn on all the fuzz pedals, and then I hit the guitar and
What
I just
fuzz
let
pedals?
it feed back.
What fuzz pedals?
Especially if it's been a long day and the babies are crying. I have different fuzz pedals. My go-to is always Big Muff. But
Which one do you use?
it depends on the song. So I have a Walrus Audio Jupiter version 2, and I love that in contrast to the Big Muff. So if I'm doing a 2-guitar song, I'll have the Big Muff on one, and then I'll have the Jupiter Fuzz on another one. That's a really good one. We did one in the past where I think I was using maybe the JHS Muffalata, but the JHS Big Muff version.
Yeah.
And then the second guitar was using a Fender Blender in comparison.
Cool.
But yeah, dude, you want to talk? I don't know if we can. I don't think we're allowed to talk about fuzz pedals right now.
We'll do a different, separate
This
podcast.
is going to completely go into a spiral of something different.
Justin, I don't know if you understand, but have you seen his pedal collection?
No, his pedal collection dwarfs mine. Like,
take a Saturday,
like,
and cancel the museum tour, and
go
over this dude's house and look at the crates of endless pedals.
So speaking of which, like, I didn't know. I mean, like, I guess I should know because everybody's in it, but it's like, but it's one of those things where it's like it's the Leonardo DiCaprio like meme of like pointing at the TV when I see like Mitchell pop up in some of the pedal groups I'm in, and he's like pressing this board, and I'm like, wait a second, I know that guy, and it's like so. It's like, so I'll see it like that pop up, and I'm like, cause I'll see it, I'm like, damn, that's a cool, that's fucking Mitchell.
Okay, full disclosure, when I saw you guys play at Juke Joint and you had pedal boards out, I was like, fuck yes.
I don't
these motherfuckers aren't scared.
I don't use too much. Like, mine's pretty simple, but
bunch of damn nerds.
It doesn't, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're trying to bring something to enhance the parts that you are playing.
Yeah.
So the song you were telling me about earlier, where you wrote this song. This is one of your first songs that you wrote together.
Yeah. We wrote this yesterday.
Yes, without killing each other. Yeah.
Yes. He wrote this song actually. He wrote right after our son was born.
I think it might have been actually
like,
when he was. Might have played it for him when he was.
Yeah,
still.
it was kind of like inspired for him, and then it's just been a thing he's played, and then I wrote a piano part to it yesterday, and we decided we would play it as an instrumental.
Sweet.
So, is it okay if I push this out of the way?
Hell yeah!
Do whatever you want. You throw that thing in the river.
It's all set up so specifically. I'm scared to move.
It's like we ordered that off of Wish.
So wait, so this is an instrumental?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck me.
Are you singing this, Justin?
Do I?
No, it's instrumental.
Instrumental.
They just said that.
Again, you can if you want.
Justin never sings.
So that song's called Beaner, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what we're going with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is it gonna have words eventually?
I don't know. I've played it here and there for a while. If you probably sat around me, I've probably aggravated you with it, and so if I've had a guitar long enough. But we put that up. We did some quarantine sessions when everybody was like shut down, and you couldn't
Yeah, I
leave your
remember you
house.
guys posting videos of each one of you what
Yeah.
what you were working
Yeah.
on.
We tried to do one a day, and like we realized quarantine was gonna last much longer than 2 weeks. Shortly into that, so we would just try to like get around to like whenever anybody could do something. John did a couple drum covers. Zach did. He did one of our songs that ended up being on the EP. He did that on acoustic, and then he did. Is it 5,000 Candles in the Wind?
Yeah, I love that video.
Yeah,
I saw that and I was like, oh my god, let's do a split.
Yes, I'm down. And then that one was one of the ones that ended up being one of the quarantine sessions, just messing around and stuff like that. So it's kind of like bounced around NLS, but hasn't really been at it yet. So
Jade.
Yeah.
Can you talk about inclusivity and exclusivity
Oh boy.
of being? Did you see how I worded that?
That was nice.
We do not have
I'm gonna
degrees
get
in
another beer.
journalism, but I feel that I worded that very appropriately.
That was very nice. I love how you did that.
I have an internet degree in journalism.
We have multiple degrees in audio
I
video.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the inclusivity and exclusivity that you've experienced being in Northern Lights?
Yeah, it's from my perspective inside the band, there's no difference between, me or Zach or John or Justin as far as, gender is concerned. But there are times where, because I'm a woman in a band, it is focused on that I am a woman and not that I am in a band, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and we recently had a performer on, and one of the first things that she communicated to us that was important to her to be on here was that she wanted to be perceived as more than just a girl with a guitar. And we explored that whole, it was very important that she was represented, three-dimensionality.
Exactly, because they're to be in a woman in a band, I feel like sometimes people create a little mold for you to fill with only one facet of who you are in that band. And from the moment I joined this band, it was very important to me that I not be referred to in any professional setting as Justin's wife. Or for the longest time, I don't think many people outside of our friends, people who just discovered the band knew we were married, because I didn't want to discredit myself as a musician by just being looked at as the girl in the band, or the guitarist's wife. And there have been lots of situations in which people in the music community will reach out to Justin to get to me, and I know they wouldn't do that to anybody else in the band,
because they feel that you're more accessible. Because I don't
know.
Perfect example. When I was contacting you guys about being on the podcast,
it meant so much to me that you messaged me.
I sent Justin a question.
Yeah.
I sent you a question, but you were firing back way more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Justin's at work. He's got things to do.
One of the very few instances in which someone who wants my opinion on something or my availability will reach out to me directly.
And we got to talk about your solo EP.
I love not being in charge of like scheduling and stuff like that.
Is that not the greatest?
Yeah,
is that not the greatest when you could just show up and just like thrash and you're like, I'm just here to like fill this in.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever tried to keep it a secret.
No,
that
it was just, it was like, your other guest said,
it's important to be represented as more.
Yes,
of
I
all
want
aspects.
to be looked at as a musician, not the girl in the band,
I think after the first show we played, somebody even came up to you afterwards.
Someone did come up to me and they said, I just thought you were someone's girlfriend.
Oh,
And
how
it's-
rude.
It's
well.
a big stack of small jabs like that make you feel very
Yeah.
small.
But
Yeah.
but that's just
That's
grain
why
of
you
salt.
punch them in the face.
And I'm
Honestly.
sure they thought that they were probably giving a compliment. 'Cause
No,
they were
yeah,
like,
it's-
hey,
it's
like
just-
I thought you were just the girlfriend.
Right.
but
Small
you
minds
went
don't
and
even
rocked
factor
out.
in.
But yeah,
But
you
yeah,
know,
no.
to be, I thought you were just the girlfriend is not a compliment.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll educate them tonight, and they can realize that you're just more
Just
than a
to-
girl with a bass guitar. That you're a mom. That you're a wife. You make home baked goods. I mean, there's all these other aspects. You know, like when we had our guests on the other week, it was very important that we stress everything that goes into. Like, I think a lot of people have this misconception that, you know, being a musician, you just show up and play at a fucking bar.
And
Like,
there's
you
so
just,
much.
You know, you gotta organize a babysitter.
Yes.
You gotta make sure you got the day off, the night off. There's tons of shit. You got transportation. Is my equipment working? Did I have it? All these factors that people
it's
don't
a lot,
realize.
and you have to
just for
practice
you
your
to show up.
instrument on your downtime when you write. You have to, it's more than just showing up and being like the girl.
That's right. Yeah, there's way more, and I hope if anything comes out off of us doing this podcast and us drinking whiskey for 3 hours, is that we communicate how much goes into being a musician and what it takes to make something happen. Not just with original bands, but also with cover bands. It's the
Absolutely.
same struggles, the organizing childcare and being able to work it out with your spouse. I mean, my fucking wife's a saint, for allowing me to, pursue musical projects and hang out with this asshole for, 2 hours to talk shit,
Yeah. And
Well,
We're getting a little sidetracked here, but
yeah, let's
back
calm
to
down.
the
Let's bring it
exclusivity.
back.
are you in the
Bring it
doghouse?
back.
Is that
It
like
sound-
one
it
of those
sound-
things
it
that you're
sounds
trying
like
to dig
you're-
yourself out
you-
of a hole?
Well,
like,
First of all, let me explain something. I am no person to give marital advice, but playing music and being married or in a committed relationship is the hardest shit in the world, because you're balancing. You gotta make money.
mhm.
You gotta have a job, but the whole time you're at that job, you're like, I hate this job. I want to do this other thing
Yeah.
that makes negative money.
Yeah, it literally costs
That
you
should
money.
be a song title.
Sometimes.
Negative money.
Sometimes. That sounds like a band name or a
Yeah.
song title.
Yeah.
So,
But what you were telling us earlier was it sounded like the way that the band operates, it's very inclusive
yes.
with everyone equal parts. Like I
Absolutely.
also want to point this out to Zach. What up, Zach? That when I contacted you about talking about your EP and Northern Lights in references to the Northern Light stuff, you stressed how important it was that Zach was also referenced as a contributing
Absolutely.
songwriter, and
Absolutely.
that you guys share that equal part responsibility, and which is just another great thing about your band that makes you work and carries on in the presence.
And
Can you talk a little bit about exclusivity? Can we get
Exclusivity.
can we
spell
get
that.
a little dirt going here?
Spell that.
I don't want to throw out specific dirt,
Yes, you do.
but if
Just you mentioned the one guy coming up and like, oh, I thought you was somebody's girlfriend.
yeah,
But has there been more than one instance in the performances that you've given, and if you have any advice for any other?
if I were to give anyone advice, if you are in the position of interviewing or podcasting or hosting a band in any facet, you just if there's a woman in the band that you're talking to, don't ask her about being a woman. Just ask her about the music.
nobody.
Ask her anything that you would ask any other member of the band. Ask her about the writing process, about your releases, about upcoming shows, about anything.
Nobody's ever asked me what it's like to be
Not one
the
person.
third dude in a band with 3 dudes and 1 girl.
I might ask.
I kind of feel like we asked you what it was like to be in a band with your wife.
But well, that's literally. But this is a different situation. But like nobody's ever been up and been like, "What's it like to have a girl in the band?" And I feel like that's the same question as if you walked up to a girl and been like, "What's it like to be the girl in
Yeah,
the band?"
there's
I
really
guess.
no
Like, I've never
answer of
gotten
substance to
yeah.
that question. I don't.
Usually it's a disaster, but the other 90% of the time, most dudes that see like a woman especially from my experience, a metal band, they look at her
It's a tough
100%
thing.
is a sexual object.
The
And
women in music
100%.
are
Not-
sexualized
And
to the nth degree. Not
Absolutely.
if that's something, that's the woman's choice.
yes.
How she presents
Mhm.
herself is her choice, but just to sexualize a woman in music because she's a woman in music and that's all you can focus on is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be coming from that perspective would be coming from very small minds,
Oh yeah.
which you're gonna run into regardless. But the fact that you are in a musical project and you make it work with your husband, and you also have your own musical solo stuff going on, it's a especially with Northern Lights, I feel that that's a very well balanced representation of what a song can be, because in my experience and being in several bands with women, I felt that whenever I was in a band and the opposite sex was represented, what communicated across, just not musically, but the ideas, the concepts that go into how the music was performed, was way more balanced, way more represented. In fairness,
It's just the same. It's kind of like with the four of us writing. It's just the different perspectives that people can bring, not even necessarily related to any sort of gender situation, just how he approaches music, how Zach approaches music, how John approaches music. It's all very multifaceted, and when it comes together, my approach and John's approach may mesh in such a unique way. It's
I think too, like another thing about it that makes it interesting is that like, if you break it down, like, man, I like lost track of my thought. Too many beers in. But if you break it down, like, looking at it, like, if she is, I don't know, like it's all 25%, like we always keep going back to and stuff, and then if like it's just I got too drunk now. If we end up just going off on like rants about it and stuff like that, it doesn't mean to be. It's just like, I guess it's like we kind of look at it in the band to the point now where it's like we're just like all equal, and we don't feel any different. And
Right.
I think it might be something where it's like people have like in mind too, I guess, like what bands used to be and stuff. And like and when I say that, it's like like you think about like the bands you idolize and things like that. I guess it's like now that my track is coming back. And I think like with us, it's like we just want to be like four dudes playing music. Like that's what we want. That's what we want to market, is because like that's approachable. You know what I mean? Like we're not like some local bands try to present themselves as rock stars, or they have tried to. Not saying anybody around here does, but you've seen it before. Where it's like, and it doesn't seem approachable.
Are you saying you don't want to be the next Three Doors Down?
No, I mean,
honestly.
How
like,
dare you?
Chris Henderson's a great guitarist, but I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things where it's like we just want to be like, look, man, we know, like, we go to work, like everybody goes to work, it's like we're just playing music for fun, you know what I mean? Like, come have fun with us while we play music, and
That's it.
like, I guess there's not much thought into it other than that for us, so like that's kind of like.
You're doing it to fill a need in your soul.
But at the same
doing it to
time,
have a good time.
but maybe with her being a female in the band, the same way it's like I like football and I like to wear like a lot of jerseys and stuff on stage. So if I'm wearing a Braves jersey on stage because I like the Braves, I'm a Braves fan in baseball. And if somebody just walking by the bar goes, that motherfucker, I like that band because I like the Braves. You know what I mean? Like you just connect to that. And it's like if there's a girl in the crowd that might have been in Jade's situation 5 years ago where she might have like a little bit more anxiety or something like that, maybe it might be inspiring to see a girl. That might be something that happens. Who knows?
It's very inspiring, and that's what I like about it. Because you are challenging all the dudes that show up and cross their arms and watch you, and like there's more to this than just guys getting in a room and drinking and making some noise.
Yeah, it's
like you could take this further.
We're just four approachable dudes that just play music for fun. Come have fun with us, I guess, at the end of the day.
They are very approachable.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but you guys are. So you just did the solo EP. Can you tell us about the process of what inspired you to write these songs? And this EP I know has more songs on it than the Northern Lights EP. So I'm like, somebody was a little more productive.
Well, okay. The EP is called Somewhere You're Not. It's got 5 songs. It's got 5 songs.
And one of them is the title track.
Yes, one is the title track. There were two that I've had kicking around for a couple years that just kind of stood the test of time, I guess. My best friend constantly, she'll reference the one and be like, man, that gets stuck in my head all the time. And so I felt that one had something, and that is the Roxborough Park track. So, yeah, two of them were just, it came down to getting them recorded and transitioning them from acoustic songs to being full, band songs. And then the other three kind of just happened. My writing process isn't analytical and it's not very planned. Sometimes I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and write 4 lines and then go back to sleep in my iPhone notes. And then at some point during the week, I kind of sit down and it's all about, I guess, the feeling that I want someone to feel when they're listening to the song, less than what I want each individual track to sound like. Wherever the inspiration comes from, whatever feeling I get, I guess, is what I want you to experience when you hear it. Less than specific words or, anything like that.
So I listened to the EP several times, and right off of the bat, I noticed variety of instrumentation.
Yeah.
You bounce around from acoustic to keyboards to the the guitarlele.
Guitarlele.
Yeah. So I mean, was that premeditated? Was that determined ahead of time? Like, I want each song to have a completely different vibe, or is that just the way it turned out?
I guess it's kind of just the way it turned out. From my experience home recording, as you start out with what you think the song will sound like, and more often than not, the song kind of develops itself as you go. The sound, for me at least, kind of changed into what it will be as you go through the process, because, I become inspired by how it's changing, and then something will be like, oh, I really like that one part. I'd like to, give the song that vibe. So it kind of just happened organically rather than to say I want them all to sound different,
Sweet. Are you ready to play one of those songs?
Yeah,
I know you brought your guitarlele.
Yeah, let me get my mini guitar.
Oh, here we go. We got to get the.
Oh boy!
Get the microphone up on that guitarlele.
Oh,
right
get that microphone up on there.
Look at that.
Can I have the capo, please?
Yeah, give her the capo, dude.
I asked him if people were gonna drag me for capoing a guitarlele.
No. They're not.
They can't see it.
Not with
on,
a Slytherin.
Actually, they can't see
shirt
it on camera. Actually, they can now.
So I'm gonna capo my guitarlele because I'm not down to transpose.
And which song off the EP are you playing?
This song is called "Hit the Fan, Science Guy," which is from Workaholics. I don't know. It's like
I saw a few episodes.
I've seen every episode, and I'm trying to remember.
It's from the episode where they find the whole cow and they're trying to make jerky with all the Lowry seasoning.
Shit,
They're going to dehydrate the meat, and he goes, "Hit the fan, science guy."
So you're all about pop culture references as well.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just this thing. I thought it was so funny. I laughed at it for like 20 minutes, and we just have been using it back and forth for the last 8 years. Okay, so this is called "Hit the Fan, Science Guy." You held me together with tape and with glue, but it died down too quick and I got stuck to you. I'm in too deep, yes it's true. I'm here with you. I love the hairs on your head and the ones that are gray. I love the bags on your eyes and the way that you say, girl, you can just be yourself. No, there's nothing to prove. My hand in your hand and fucked up but better. We're losers forever.
That is the neck tattoo.
It's a reference to a Spanish love song. To be fair, it's a band we listen to, so I didn't come up with that. So yeah, that was Hit the Fan Science guy.
Sweet. So the EP came out, or I'm sorry, I may have this backwards, but you were releasing videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And these
I think
videos,
that's what a lot of people say.
I'm like, these videos are fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And it really caught my attention. I'm like, she fucking recorded some songs and is producing the own. I'm like, why is Northern Lights not doing this? What is the bottleneck here? She's like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna go do my own shit, and it's gonna be awesome.
I guess a lot of the concepts that I had for songs or for videos were kind of things that I had already filed that didn't fit Northern Lights Suplex. Not to say there's definitely some video ideas for Northern Lights Suplex that we're going to work on and that I'm very excited about. But
are you going to direct them? And edit them?
I wouldn't say direct, but like.
I mean, for the most, we do have one video, quote unquote, out for our EP for Happyish, and that was just like a collection of us partying.
I remember seeing
and
that,
stuff,
right?
And us practicing, and that she pieced that together. So that was like her production, I guess, to kind of like tie it together. So it's like she did that, and then all of her solo stuff. So yeah, it's like I've been nudging her, like, hey.
Editing a music video is not easy.
It is.
So you have 20,000 hours in the day. You're like, look, I'm just going to do all of this stuff while my kid's sleeping. He sleeps for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm going to squeeze in a recording. I'm going to mix it. And then the last 30 minutes, I'm going to edit a video every day.
It's a lot, but it.
Justin's like, that's cool. Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
No, it's my favorite part of the day because I get to take an hour and a half nap with the kid.
Yeah. So I get an hour and a half of a long time to read a book, to work on music, to work on a video, to get footage, whatever it may be that day.
But these music videos that you've created are so good.
Thank
like,
you.
do you have background in video editing and
I
videography?
don't.
You're just learning this on the fly. You're like, I'm gonna do some cool shit and put some filters, and we're gonna see how it turns out.
Yeah, I kind of I'll just, if I have an idea for something, I'll take it as far as I can take it, and then if there's something I need to do that's beyond my scope of knowledge, I will use whatever's at my disposal to learn how to do it if I can. And if I can't, just kind of tweak my idea for the outcome down to something that is doable.
I feel like you're going to end up in marketing.
Maybe.
I really feel like you're gonna, like 2 years from now, you're gonna, if the podcast is still going, or we see you at a show, we're gonna be like, "How's it going?" You're gonna be like, "I'm the VP of marketing now at the casino."
Oh yeah, I've got no education, but if y'all want to hire me, what's up?
I disagree. I'm pretty upset at myself for not forcing you to bring some bread.
Dude, I really actually was going to, and then time just got away today.
I was like, why didn't we?
I almost did. I have to, my parents live out in the forest on a farm, and I had to drive Silas out to drop them off around like 11 this morning. I just didn't get up in enough time, but I will bring you some bread at some point.
Because I see the pictures in this.
You should. But
Phil brought it up. Let's talk about the bread. I was gonna save it for last, but let's talk about the bread.
If she brings you the bread, you have to eat the bread live.
If you
on
freeze
a podcast.
the bread, I will lose my mind.
How did you get into bread making? And for clarification, Jade is vegan.
Yeah.
So we're talking about vegan bread here.
Not vegetarian, vegan.
To be distinct, yes. But it's
and
really,
also Jade is the only one not drinking tonight.
Yeah, also
That too.
I had a rough stint of
Can
passing
you
out
tell?
on the bathroom.
All your answers are appropriate and correct, and the rest of us should just
Ramble. rabble.
But it's really dumb. Quarantine happened, and I've always wanted to bake bread, like homemade bread. So it's not even to eat it. Just like imagine the smell would be nice in my house. And then I started baking bread, and I really enjoyed it. And then that just kind of morphed into like me creating recipes for vegan sweetbreads and a lot of people were interested in it, so I
There-
started selling them, and it's really cool to show people that vegan food isn't just like twigs and grass, you know. It's like it's just good food that like incidentally doesn't, you know, have
Yeah.
animal
Twigs
products
and
in
grass.
Good
Yeah.
twigs and grass.
it.
That sounds like a delight. Sign me up.
You
I
wouldn't
will
believe
be
how
eating
often I get that.
buffalo wings tomorrow for football.
Yeah.
Do you do pretty well with the bread? Like how
Yeah.
often do you do?
Yeah, is that the
orders?
only
'Cause
thing you sell?
It looks like
or-
you sell out every time.
Yeah, I do orders on a weekly basis, and I just pretty much take orders to what I believe my capacity is for how many days I'm giving myself to bake it fresh for pickup, and it's been going really well.
You should bring the bread to your next show. So when somebody comes up,
That's
they're
what we
like,
sell at the merch
they're-
table.
yeah, they're like,
We
man,
just sell
you're
vegan
really
bread."
good for somebody's girlfriend playing bass, and you're like, yeah, I also make bread, asshole. Would you like to buy some?
Exactly.
You ever had my bread, bro?
I'll just
It's
put the
coming from my
Northern
territory.
Lights.
Just don't play
man.
bass. I make bread. Too.
Bitch.
Come-
I would like to invest in this company. I,
I
think we
also-
can go somewhere with
I
it.
also sell bread. If you guys want to buy some bunny bread by any chance, it's
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
so like she's not the only bread maker over here.
You're a bunny guy, basically, right?
Yeah, bunny guy.
Holy shit!
Bunny
Sign me
bread.
up.
Bread.
Your EP, as I was phrasing it, is very lo-fi, and I love the lo-fi vibe on it.
Thank you.
When I do shit, it's all fucking lo-fi filters and shit.
Yeah.
Was that going into creating your EP? Was that the overall kind of vibe that you intended, or that's just the way it came out, or?
No, that part was intentional. I knew kind of the vibe I wanted it to give off, but I wasn't sure what specific form it would take, you know, which I think is kind of why it differs from song to song, but it's cohesive in the nature that it all has that kind of lo-fi vibe to it in one aspect or another. I wanted it to be chill and easy listening, and you know, somebody from any genre could listen to and not feel like it was outside of the scope of things that they were interested in.
Are you going to make videos for Northern Lights?
Yeah, man.
They're gonna make it a Kron studio.
I hope not.
That is. We also would like to do that, by the way.
Yeah, we'd love some more Kron studio time.
Cool. Well, you just come over tomorrow night and we'll hook it up.
We were
Oh,
sitting here with an agenda by Zach and John to make sure we leave with Kron Studio booked.
Oh yeah, that was the whole thing.
Oh, and so when I saw you guys at the Juke Joint, that was your first performance, right?
Yes.
As
Yes.
Northern Lights.
Yep.
And you played the Blink-182 cover.
I think we did 2 covers that night, didn't we?
We did Newfound Glory and Blink-182.
Yeah, we did Newfound Glory too.
Yeah, I remember the Blink-182 cover because everybody in the audience was singing along to it. Do you guys practice a lot of cover songs and at practice, or was that like, hey, we just need an extra song to fill out the time?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, we for our first several shows, we decided to put a cover in just
Make time.
yeah, to make time and for, you know, crowd engagement. You're watching a band you've never heard before,
Yeah, we
and
don't-
it's tough to kind of capture everyone's attention right away, but they play a cover, you know, and you're immediately like, "Oh,
So
I'll give them a little bit of my
considerate
attention.
of the audience.
We were
We have never been that considerate.
we would
well,
strategically
we also
try
like
to,
playing covers, so
Yeah,
Right.
we would try to. We knew if we fit one in the middle of the set, you know what I mean.
maybe it would
that,
hold
like
people's
Right.
because
attention
like
better.
normally you start off strong and then it's like you got to keep people from going to the bar. At the end of the day, like you want them to go to the bar to get beer, but you want them to come back to you. So it's like you know about song 3 or 4. You know, it's like if they don't know the songs, you know, it's like odds are you might lose. So if you get some drunk people to come back up and sing some My Chemical Romance, you
Yeah.
know, or something like that, it's like you might hook them in for the rest of the set. So, it's a
So-
little,
I heard Refurb, and just from hearing Refurb, I'm like, I'm bringing my fucking GoPro to this show. Yeah, I'm fucking recording this.
oh my
shit.
god, that was your GoPro footage.
I had one on one side, and I think
John
had
had
one on the other side, and I sent him the
yeah,
footage.
yeah,
and I was like, hey,
remember.
you should edit these two together for a live shot.
yes,
Yeah.
we should.
But I was really excited to see you guys because, like I said, I had not seen a non-metal band, you know, in a long time.
Yeah.
And I was really excited from just hearing Refurb, but you guys recorded yourself, which I thought was fucking fantastic. I'm like, fucking DIY, props to you guys.
That one's still out there on Spotify too, if you want to check that one out.
Great.
That's one of the ones that survived the
What's
cuts.
the name?
Refurb.
What's that song about?
That's a more of a question for Zach. That was like a
Zach
super.
wrote the lyrics.
It was a super simple guitar little melody I came up with, and like I said, I think Zach came up with all of the vocal parts. It was an interesting little thing because I think that was like right when you joined. I think we recorded that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like boom boom.
Yeah.
So that was like the first thing we did as a full band. Because I think actually we might have booked Frets before Refurb might have even been out. I don't know on the timeline on all this.
No, we booked Frets really fast because I joined the band because Frets was booked.
Yeah, like we know. Yeah, that actually does kind of go back because like Dimitri, we've known Dimitri for a long time, and we never got to play Frets. And even though we've known Dimitri's for I don't know, like probably 12, 13 years now, and he was the reason we got to play Crest a lot because that was when Dimitri started getting into booking and stuff like that, and he got his hands in, and he was kind of like doing some things like that, and he did the Young Gun series and stuff, and
yeah, I think that's what we played.
Yeah,
Young Guns.
Yeah,
when we played upstairs, I think that was part of the Young Guns when they advertised it on the flyers.
Yeah, that was with Defy Me.
I was at that show then. That was the one I was at. Yes.
Yeah, that was a legit show. That was fun. Good stuff.
Wednesday night, bro.
Yeah, dude.
It was a weeknight.
Yeah.
But it was legit. It was legit. They had door security. They had a couple bartenders.
Door security was a little aggressive. They were a little aggressive.
Well, that was after Afro-Man. So
like I thought I was walking into the Pentagon.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a good job. But holy shit.
But yeah, they so he did that, and he asked us if we wanted to play Frets for Pets. We're like, of course we want to play Frets for Pets. We're like, all right, let's go.
Let's find a bassist.
Yeah, let's fill this whole fucking band up and put something out. And I think that's where Refurb kind of came out of. Was like we had a bunch of shit wrote.
So I joined, and then
that's when you made your stipulations.
Yeah, and so I joined, and then like a month and a half later, we were on stage.
Yeah,
and it was wild.
Which was fantastic.
Thank you.
I was there. Phil was there.
I was there.
Mike was there.
I
I remember we were all standing
and
together.
I was so upset that you didn't get to play because like you.
What do you mean I didn't get to play?
Chagrin was supposed to play.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, hey.
Because you were literally like that was my first show I probably played in probably 4 years and literally you were the only person I knew that was also Jupiter Pilot ended up playing the show and we're friends with Jupiter Pilot, but before Jupiter Pilot I think Jupiter Pilot filled in for y'all when y'all dropped off, but before that I think you were literally the only person I actually personally knew.
Help me out. What are we talking about here?
What were we talking about? With me and you, we went to Juke.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I was
like,
you're like,
we were drunk.
I told you I was going.
We were drunk. And you're like, hey
I'm
man,
here to
I
see this
said,
one
like,
band.
Thanks.
I quit drinking yesterday.
I was fucking loaded that night.
Yeah. So the Chagrin thing, that was a bad situation.
I was just heartbroken that you didn't.
I was heartbroken. Holy shit! Like nobody was more upset than me. Nobody. That was a tough. And then we booked something at the Crooked Letter Brewery.
I think we were supposed to play something at Crooked Letter too, and then Crooked Letter
imploded.
Yeah.
And you know I couldn't play that show either. And like we dropped off the day of, which is a no.
Yeah.
Like holy shit. And
that's a hard thing to do.
Which is why I'm not playing with that establishment outfit. There you go. But here we are.
Here we are talking about Jade's EP. So Jade, how long did it take you to get those songs together? And this is a two-part question. I'm sorry. How long did it take you to get those songs together? And two, what is the title song about? Because when I hear that, it feels like it's kind of a bit of a stab at someone. Like, look, motherfucker, look at me now.
We need names.
Check this shit out. You know, look where I'm at.
We need addresses, emails,
Social Security. It took all in all from like the first time I sat down and was like, I'm gonna fucking record a song, until I put the EP out about 3 months, maybe 2.5.
That's really fast, really quick.
Just kind of in between deciding to like do videos, and you know it was a process of deciding what songs should be grouped together in an EP, what songs should be left off for further use, and what songs should be put out as singles. So yeah, 2.5, maybe 3 months. And the title track, Somewhere You're Not, is it's just about missing someone, missing anyone, really.
Okay, so it's not.
it's not a stab at anyone. It's like
I'm about to start crying, dude. I'm about
Sorry,
to start crying.
Oh,
right
God.
here.
Sorry, Phil.
when I'm writing, a lot of the tracks are kind of ways of me working through really unpleasant things in my past. And lyrically, I like to write pretty ambiguous in a way that I'm not revealing too much to people about what specifically I went through.
Right. Abstract.
Yeah, like a lot of songs are written kind of from the point of view of a love song or of a breakup song, because I feel that's relatable to a lot of people. It's an easy pill to swallow, but it's vague enough that it also can describe, a memory that I'm referencing, as well as being relatable to someone else who's not going through my specific problem. So it's all pretty vague to be decided upon by the listener.
This is something I wanted to bring up, and that is you editing the videos to your own songs. So as one video editor to another, I know that editing a video requires listening to the same song 50,000
so much.
fucking times
so
over
much.
and over, and it's just not the whole song, it's snippets.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
and unless you actually edit a video, you don't realize what you are in for.
Oh yeah,
with
God,
the transitions, and your transitions are excellent.
Thank you.
So I watching your videos, I'm like, oh, she's edited this many times,
there's
trying
a lot.
out different.
The first video that I did, I remember very specifically, there was a point where it was pretty much done, and I wanted to change one part, and I didn't think about the fact of how it would offset the rest of the song, and it ended up tacking on an extra 3 days of editing to it, because pieces that I had lined up to very specific moments in the song were all thrown completely off. I had deleted the old clip. I didn't have it anymore. I didn't.
3 days is nothing.
Oh my God, 3 days is every bit of
That's-
free time
that's
I
like
had that
2
week.
seconds.
It was just, and so it's like every time I do one, I learn something on how to make it
Right.
a more effective, time effective, I guess, to make the best use of my time, but it is still a lot.
Very, very well done.
Thank you.
By the way, do
Thank
you
you.
want to? So you only have? Is it only one more song that you have to play from the E EP?
Yeah, just my other acoustic song from the EP, which is called what is it called? My mind's blanking right now. Oh, it's called Forced Perspective.
All right.
Forget where it came from. Sorry, I moved the capo around so much. Okay, got it. Sorry, they sound so similar that I forget where I play them. I would have followed you into the sea. I would have given you my spine. I would have fallen at your feet. Let you break all of my bones. My paper skin was yours alone. I tried to curl around your body, but your heart was made of stone. I would have followed you into the sea, but I was always bleeding and your stomach was too weak like I tried to tourniquet my heartstrings. I always fell apart. Oh, I just wanted to be someone who was worthy of your heart. I became so small, you'd hardly notice it. Was almost nothing that was left of me at all. It tried to kill me to walk away, but it was killing me to stay. I love you more than you could know, but I won't ever let it show. All right, that was forced perspective.
What? Forced perspective.
Forced perspective.
Who is forcing a perspective?
Well, it's a lot. That's up to you to decide.
All right. When are you working on more solo stuff?
I am. I just put out a song a couple days ago, a song in a video called Chemical Twin, and it's kind of weird. It's more of like
We like weird.
a collection of like, you know, melodic wailing and harmonic noises than it is like a song. But I'm really proud of it. I like how it turned out. And that'll be on Spotify by probably like Tuesday.
Do you guys like the Spotify platform?
Yeah.
Yes
I love
and
it.
no.
So like, do we type in your name to get your EP stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. If you just go to Spotify and it's just Jade Freche, and
No S in that Freche.
no S, Freche.
Yeah.
Why don't you like Spotify? I mean,
Um,
obviously probably because it allows thousands of people to hear you,
Yes.
but the no is
I mean, the obvious reasons why, as far as like
the
just-
0.0001.
Payment. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's like we never did any of this to make money. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, I mean, like if you can make money, you can. But it's like it's kind of like artistic to us, as far as like we just enjoy doing it. But at the same time, we're not trying to like let anybody else make money off of us, in a sense. You know what I mean? I guess that's like the thing where it's like you can get your shit out there, pay DistroKid $20 a year, upload as much stuff as you want, and literally like we have people from
Now I heard bad things about DistroKid. I've seen bad reviews.
we
Oh, I've had.
we've
well,
had
we haven't.
I love DistroKid.
we use DistroKid.
Yeah, I've not had any
Yeah.
negative experience with
But-
DistroKid
yeah, that's just
so
you,
far.
Mitchell.
But I could see
It's not me.
again.
Look
it's
it up on YouTube.
Other than the
Yeah.
fact that you can't do DistroKid with an Apple product.
The
I'll use
reviews on YouTube I saw, it's incredibly difficult to get off of DistroKid once you're on.
really.
Yeah.
I guess that would. I guess I could see that in an extent. But as far or anything that you use, you can just put it out there in Spotify. I mean, like it's cool the fact that like you can go in and find out that like you can put
The
your shit out there
analytics,
and
yeah.
read the analytics and figure out exactly like where your demographic. Like we have maybe 10 people that listen to us in Gulfport, Mississippi, and then we might have like 15 people listen to us in Southern California, and we don't.
We don't know why.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, we've been on a couple different podcasts or a couple different things like that, and you know, like in a couple podcasts, we'll play our music and stuff like that, you know, and it's like, and we assume that has a lot to
I think
do with it.
Rushmore played one of yours.
Yeah,
and
they
then
used-
Pop Nutshell.
Yeah.
Rushmore,
I
and
remember
Pop
played one of
Nutshell.
yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rushmore and Pop Nutshell have been two advocate supporters of us, and we're
Yeah, they're great.
forever grateful. Yeah, like both of them, and it's like, and we think that probably has a lot to do with like picking up listeners and other parts. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, when you're getting, you know, 0.00000 on your, you know, streams, it's a
It kind of doesn't make sense.
it's a catch-22. So we
See how it says sense?
yeah, we do have hard copies. We do have physical copies of our album. If anybody's still into that type of
Old school medium.
yeah, and what we do with that is you pay your own price.
Anything you want.
So we don't have a set price. So it's like,
well, you said that earlier. You said somebody like paid like $30 for one of your CDs.
Yeah.
And then someone else probably paid $1.
Yeah, and somebody else might pay $3
That's
for
crazy.
it. So it's like if you're willing to pay $20-$30, then you're basically paying for us to give away a couple CDs on top of that, because it's like, it's like if we can, if somebody's gonna give us $30, and like let's say on average you sell it for $10, so we can turn around and give away 2 CDs. You know what I mean? That's the way we look at it. And so it's like you're still getting paid, but at the same time you're promoting yourself, because it's like
at the end of the day, we just want people to have our music in their hands.
Pollock did that. The painter, he did that with a certain person, and he said, "Pay what you want for this painting."
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give him Pollock wouldn't give him a straight up price.
That's exactly what we do.
And the guy was like, "Okay, I'll give you $20." It wasn't $20, but it was something very, very low than what Pollock was accustomed to receiving for his paintings. And that guy like paid like $200 or whatever for his painting. And then later on, that painting went on to I think be priced at like $200,000 or something ridiculous after Pollock died. And but he was furious. He was furious after the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll give you like $200 for it," when Pollock was accustomed to receiving thousands of dollars for his paintings. So, but you guys are not. You're not.
So
it feels weird to place value
on your art.
On our art. I guess that's how I feel about it. It feels weird to place value on our music in that way.
I really like Blink-182, and Blink-182 years ago did a like way back, like the previous, before they did their first hiatus, they did a thing called the Dollar Bill Tour, and it was literally $1 to go see them. That was it.
How do you feel about the Blink-182 lineup now?
With Skiba, I really like California. I thought that was a great album. I really like Alkaline Trio. Everything.
Skiba's out now, though.
Everything after California, I haven't been as big of a fan of. I thought California itself was an excellent album. I actually prefer California over Neighborhoods, which was the
Neighborhoods was trash.
In hindsight, going back,
How dare you?
I do
Neighborhoods was not trash.
I like
Neighborhoods was garbage.
Oh
Doggy dog, come on. Come on.
So I hated Neighborhoods when it first came out. In hindsight,
you hated it because it wasn't what you thought it was supposed to sound like.
That's a whole different.
It was a dichotomy.
But the point, going back to Blink though, is that I thought it was really cool that at their peak, before they ever went on hiatus, they were they did the Dollar Bill Tour where it was like tickets were only $1, and I was like, that's really cool. Like that's going back to kind of like a punk rock attitude where it's like, it's like we give away stickers, we give away t-shirts, you know what I mean? We give away.
Yeah, but Blink-182, they are millionaires. Marcus and Travis and
now
Tom, they're millionaires. They can do that. They can charge $1 for their
You're right.
Shows.
You're right. But
I think.
But at the same time, going back, hold on, before you go on anymore though, if you could look at like how music structure is though, you don't make as much money off of your albums, even in Blink-182 setting, where it's like touring is where a lot of bands make their money and stuff like that. They're touring and their markups on their merch and stuff like that.
That's why Taylor Swift sued Spotify and pulled all of her albums.
Exactly. But if you break it down, where if you look at if Blink-182 is willing to just give where they make their bread and butter, if they're willing to break that down to like, hey, like these are only going to be $1 tickets, you know what I mean? Like they're cutting into their own profits there just to do something that
I don't think so.
I mean,
cutting into their own. Nobody's cutting into their. They have financial managers to make sure that they.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they're like a local band doing it. I guess what I'm saying is that like if you look at it like we can sell our CDs for $10 and we might sell 3 CDs. You know what I mean? We make $30 off of it or something like that. But it's like you ever find those kids that like punk rock music that don't have $10? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that situation?
That's a basis by basis.
It is
a case by case.
I've been in that situation where I went to a show in Homa, and I went and I had $10 on my, and the only thing I could afford was dog tags from the band that played. So I bought dog tags because I really liked the band that played, because that's the $10 that I had in my pocket because I was a kid and stuff. And I guess it's like that's kind of like the attitude we try to bring. Like, don't get me wrong, we actually are more profitable letting you pick your price because you will overpay us out of generosity because you feel like more people.
No,
I agree with Justin because it makes people want to buy it.
Hey, look.
No,
We're
not
from
over.
it-
Well,
from-
he said overpriced. They're not paying more because people don't realize how much time and effort
No,
and energy
okay,
they put
okay.
into
But-
recording, what the recording costs, what it cost, the time amount that it was required for them to rehearse, write the songs, copyright the songs. I mean,
I
there's
agree.
all this
Which
goes into
all
it.
that is with us. Like everything like we paid for recordings. All of our shit's copyrighted and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like if you got somebody that's willing to give you $50 for a CD, and then I think that your profit margin on selling one CD for $50, you can turn around and give away 2 CDs for $5.
Yep.
You know.
Sure.
And so I guess like that's.
I mean,
the way,
they're your CDs. You could do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, but I guess it's like as long as you hit zero on whatever as long as you make your money back from whatever the profit that it
Yes.
costs for you to do the CDs, whatever way you get there, that's the point, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I guess it's like finding interesting ways to market yourself is key because not too many people want to buy CDs nowadays. You know, that's also the other thing too. It's like,
So now it's difficult. So when me and Phil, we're dinosaurs, but back in our heyday, selling CDs was the medium. That was the go-to medium of how we would make our bread and butter on tour. Now it's not. Now
we
it's
debated
all
on
digital.
whether or not we were even going to do CDs. It was like a debate within the band on whether or not it was even, you know what I mean, like do we even need to do this at this point?
Right.
And it's
But
like,
you did.
and we're making money off of it because you know what I mean, like, and not only that, but it's like there's some people there's more people than you think that don't use Spotify or Apple Music. And I think that that's like another thing too, that like you learn that like there's some older people out there that aren't down to like sign up for something even if it's free. And that's weird to people our age, but it's like when you hand them a CD and they come back and they're like, I really like X song off of it. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, like that's, you got a listener at that point. You know what I mean? You got somebody that might come back and buy a shirt. And it's all about getting returning customers. And, you know, it's like, I guess like that's the way we kind of look at it, where it's like, you know, if we, you know, give away a little bit, maybe people will come back for more in a sense. You know, it's all just different forms of marketing, I guess.
So what you're saying is Skiba is way better than Tom. And Jade, when are you going to release your CD?
I don't disagree live because I've seen them both with Tom and with Skiba, and with Skiba it was better than with Tom.
Oh, I love Skiba. I
Okay.
fucking Tom is like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Live, yes.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand.
You guys are
Even
awful.
Angels and Airwaves, I want to fucking vomit.
You guys
I
are,
cannot stand out. I don't even fucking care about his UFO bullshit.
You should go to jail.
Can you enlighten us here about
She
if your
prefers
EP
Skiba,
is
too.
going to come out on CD? Will us dinosaurs be able to rock your shit in the car?
Plug it.
Probably not because minimum order quantities.
Unreal.
You get on what's it, Mahler Records?
If I could order
Stop.
like 4 CDs, that'd be great. But I don't think anybody needs 200 copies of my EP.
You'd be surprised.
I'd buy it.
I would be very
You would be
surprised.
very surprised. I think you would do very well.
If you did just vinyl, you would do very well.
Vinyl is very expensive to do.
Mi-
though.
Mitchell doesn't believe in it.
I
No,
don't.
we believe in the concept
John
that
is
like people will do
twitching in the
vinyl,
distance.
but we cannot find anybody that will print us vinyl for less than like $1,000.
Oh, I could, yeah, furnish
I'm sure.
records,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
like
hook
so
you
you
up.
could do. You don't have to do like a full album, but you could do like a 7-inch with
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
you
song
could do a
or two,
7-inch,
couple
yeah.
songs on each side. But
Hey, get with us. We'll cut Mitchell out of this since he's
Yeah, cut that SOB out of this. Like, we're trying to make money over here.
the vinyl argument falls on deaf ears with me over sonic quality.
Yeah.
Sonic quality. I can understand that, but at the same time, man, it's like you just got to go where
Yeah.
the.
I mean,
people are going.
if you like
Look,
putting
hey,
you know,
what-
plastic and you know, down and
What sold-
watching it
What
rotate.
sold more last year, vinyl or CDs?
That's you know that's the whole thing. CDs carry more sonic quality than
But no,
vinyl.
that didn't answer my question though. Which one sold more last year, vinyl
Answer
or
the
CDs?
question, Mitchell.
Oh, but that has let's talk about hipsters.
That's true, but
I'm just trying to talk about Jade's EP. I'm not really trying to talk about hipsters here.
yeah, hipsters like vinyl, but we'll cater to hipsters if they'll buy our stuff.
Justin, Jade, do you have anything you want to plug? Like your bread company or your 15 EPs you got coming up?
He switches it to the Skycam.
Oh, all right. What up? Yeah, I mean, if you want to order some bread, I take orders every Monday just about. Pickups on Fridays. You can listen to my EP, Jade Freche, on Spotify. And like I said, I just put out a new song and video on Facebook a couple days ago called Chemical Twins. So if you want to watch that, that'd be dope. And then
your bread company is also just F space R space E space C space H E. It's just fresh, spaced out.
You lost me at F.
She has a company for that on Facebook too.
Hey, I wanted to ask you. You guys did a bunch of singles before the EP came out. Do you have any plans in the merging the EP with the singles and producing a full album in the future?
For NLS, I think we're approaching. I think we're gonna go back into the studio and probably do a couple more EPs. I think we're gonna keep a couple short length things just because it's like
a turnaround time. It's easy for us to
turnaround time's easier.
So then the plan of attack is to do another EP for
Yes.
Northern Lights.
Also,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
also just find it's easier to get people to listen to 4 to 5 songs than it is to drop 13 on them and be like, really like track 8. You know what I mean?
But those singles, are you going to re-record them or they're going to stay as singles?
They
Like, would you re-record
Refurb. Maybe not. Maybe that one's kind of like on the fence. So like we kind of like how Refurb turned out. It's also kind of like more about
Did I tell you I liked how Refurb turned out?
Yeah. See, Refurb. There's a couple other ones we might want to go back and retouch that are older songs that we did. But for
right now, we're a little more writing focused.
Yeah.
Moving forward with
Y'all
with
got
some-
irons in the fire.
Yeah.
got a
And
couple.
we would like to do maybe something along the lines of like some of our older songs we'd like to do in a live setting that's like a little bit more raw, I guess. We would like to re-record them like that in a setting that might be more like us playing all mic'd just live type
A studio,
situation.
perhaps.
Yeah.
I think you did an excellent job with the singles, and I would love to hear you guys do more self-produced singles or a self-produced E EP.
We've kind of like dabbled.
We lean towards it and then lean away and then lean further towards it again.
It's a lot.
I
It's a lot.
know for sure we'll self-produce something again.
But
I
I
think it'll-
mean, you just did a whole EP by yourself, so I mean, I can,
Yeah, I think it'll be a song by song basis thing.
Yeah.
For,
I could see
like, for
Jade
Northern
mixing
Light.
the next Northern Lights
Oh.
EP.
No. What I
If
did
she's
was,
willing to do it, honestly, like if she's willing to do it, then she's one person in the band that is. Like I'll put it to you like that. But nah, like I said, we got a couple more things we got planned on coming up. We want to approach things different. We want to do, like I said, we want to do things self-produced. We want to do things in a studio. We really want to record something like in a live setting where we're all recording just our raw instruments, and that be kind of like maybe do like a couple punkish songs like that, to where it's like, to get back to where you're talking about, to where like maybe the drummer's on a click and nobody else. That way it's a little bit more raw type.
it's like an authentic
to get
live sound.
We really want to kind of approach things in different facets, just to have like.
And I love the idea of doing like a one take situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's just what it is what it is. We're not redoing
No overproduction.
100 parts to get it right. It's
Maybe
however we
something-
play the song, that is the song.
Yeah, we want to do something like that. And then at the same time, we do got a couple songs that are even maybe a little bit, that should be maybe produced even a little bit more than what our EP was, I guess is one way to put it. We have some songs that might even have more rooms for like multiple tracks and stuff like that, that might, kind of catch a little bit of attention, that might be a little bit different than some of our 2-chord songs, I guess.
I don't know if you guys listen to the Pixies, but Frank Black did some solo stuff, and he recorded it live like that.
Yeah.
And every how it ended up is how it ended up.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Not
There's-
necessarily the first take, but whatever
Yeah,
take they
yeah,
agree
yeah.
upon. Okay, everybody did not fuck up. That's the take we keep, but it was all.
Yeah, there's something very authentic
We've
about
all-
just taking what is.
We've talked about maybe having like multiple different approaches to like a couple different ways of releasing music, because one thing we don't want to do is we don't want it to be the same. We don't want to come out with another EP that sounds like our last EP, and we promise you that won't happen. So,
What about you, Jade? Do you have any plans for playing live your solo stuff? is Northern Lights going to back you if you do play live?
I probably
Can we expect to see Justin and John?
probably not. I keep those respectfully separate to respect the band and
What about an all-girl?
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't have enough friends for that, to be honest.
Keep tuned. Stay tuned to the podcast. I think we're gonna have a lot more married couple musicians coming up.
Hell yeah.
I'm
not opposed to playing live, but
you guys could start a
it's not
super
something
group.
I'm seeking out.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Well, I don't know. I had more questions.
Go ahead.
You're trying to keep me
Go
live
ahead.
streams. You
Lightning
guys have any
round.
more live streams in the works?
Not right away, but we're not opposed to it. It's kind of like one of those things where we don't want to be in charge of doing the live streams.
But if someone contacts us, we will be ready.
Live streams are a nightmare,
Can't imagine.
Why don't we do a live
Especially-
stream here?
especially if
go.
you're not included.
So, yeah.
Set it up.
So,
Gigs on the horizon for Northern Lights. I think I already asked you this. If you had any solo gigs planned where you're going to perform, songs from your E EP.
No, I don't have any planned. I'm stick to Northern Lights Suplex as far as live performing is concerned for now.
Okay.
Unreal.
But if somebody was like, "Yo, Jade, come play some songs.
Hey, come play some songs. We'll give you some money.
Bring your piano."
I had somebody ask
the $1
about
million man
me
says
doing
everybody's
that,
got a
but
price.
it's like, to arrange the set and to take a night away from being with my son, and it's a lot,
Oh, hell yeah.
So
Some
Yeah.
drunk guy yelling some stuff at you while you're playing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's just not
Like-
something that appeals to me at this time.
Like, look, asshole, I'm paying a babysitter tonight to watch my kid so I can be here to perform.
Shut
these
your
songs for
mouth
you.
while I
I
play.
don't need your heckling. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your inner workings, your functionality, your dysfunctionality, and your functionality of inside the band and outside the band. I hope that at least my hope was that anyone watching this would see this can work.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
aspire for this, there is a way to make this work, and also to have balanced representation among the sexes, that it doesn't just have to be a bunch of fucking dudes in a room together, that there are other people, of the opposite sex that want to play music, that want to play instruments, that you can bring in and have a wider, way more.
Absolutely.
I've had some whiskey.
I concur.
Justin and
I've
Jade
had-
Freche, thank
I've
you
had some
guys.
beer.
Mitchell
so much.
Gross III, the Croatian sensation.
Yeah, before we get into the Croatian
AKA
situation, well, let's plug their Bandcamp one more time, because I want everybody to know about their band, and I want everybody to know about Jade's EP.
You can find us on any social as Northern Light Suplex Band for the most part. Like if you just add that to any of the Facebook.com/Northern Light Suplex Band or Instagram. I think our Cash App I will put in the comment is either NLS Band or Northern Light Suplex Band. And if you just send us a Cash App for any amount of money with your address, we will ship you a CD. So, surprise us, we don't care where it's at. Shipping's
I will
pretty
trade
cheap.
you one Kron
Sold.
Studio koozie
Sold.
Boom.
for a CD.
Absolutely.
And that's what we call bartering in today's
That's
society.
how you do it.
Yeah. And so if you want to buy this,
Yeah, put that on camera.
if you want to buy this koozie that I just happened to acquire in a trade, I will also sell this. If you put this, if you want this specific one, put it in the comment for
I'm
our
gonna
Cash
trade
App,
This
and I will mail
toothpick
this to you, and
for
I
the
will
most
trade this
expensive
toothpick.
item here.
Yes.
And where we're gonna find that your solo EP at?
You can find it on Spotify at Jade Freche. It's Freche, and that's the only place it is.
When's your next EP coming out?
I don't know.
When's the next Northern Lights EP coming out?
I also don't know.
Either late this year or beginning of next year.
And when are you playing live again?
Probably 2021 the way things are looking.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if we're lucky.
Unless it's Phil's living room.
Hey.
How dare
Set
you?
it
Have
up.
you seen my living room?
I mean,
yeah, you already talked about your cocaine white
Yeah, that's
couches.
true.
Worried about people
That's
spilling
true.
beer on them. Justin's not gonna spill any beer on them. We'll just put them outside like we used to do at my house.
Mitchell
just took-
Gruich the
We
third.
took all the couches out. And we would take all the couches when I lived like 2 streets over from you guys. We'd take all the couches out and put them in the front yard, and then Phil would go out there and shoot fireworks
Yeah.
and spill beer on the couches.
Yeah, we peed on the couch.
But we'd have an empty
We
living
would
room
pee
where
on
the
the
band
couch.
would
Speaking of
play.
peeing, your boy's been some bud.
You guys are awesome.
Mitchell Gruich the third, the Croatian sensation. Justin, Jade, Freche, thank you guys for being here. This is great. Now let's get drunk.
We got a new closing scene to throw up too.
Holy shit, we got a closing scene. Let
Check
me.
this shit out. We are getting perfect.
Yep, there you go.
You can't read it because it's small text,
But you're not supposed to read it. That's
It doesn't-
why.
it
That's
doesn't
why it's
matter.
small.
That's some
it
professional
doesn't
shit
matter.
right here.
We're doing professional shit.
Thanks, guys. Episode 8 in the book.